giving that thing. Punch your leg stand and punch it America. Banye dwal punch your leg stand and punch it America. Banye dwal ban walk on your leg kankar watan watching. Oga leg juir pa ogara leg panda wadiaye punch it America. Banye dwal ban chingitongo pandon kujuir baya cheka. Papu panda juir wadiabi dwal. Panchi America, Panji Dwal, Panta leg
The Assembly will hear an address by Her Excellency Rebecca Nyandeng de Mabior, Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan. May I request protocol to escort Her Excellency. I have great pleasure in welcoming Her Excellency Rebecca Nyandeng de Mabior, Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, and I invite her to address the General Assembly. Madam.
Your Excellency, President of the General Assembly, Your Excellency, Secretary General of the United Nations, Your Excellencies, heads of the delegation, and fellow delegates, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of President, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, I stand before you to share the recent development in our country. I intend to do so in the spirit of constructive engagement. On July 9, 2011, we emerged from a long liberation struggle against oppression and domination. After 10 years of independence, we remain on a path of nation building founded on the vision and inspiration of our liberation struggle and what we have committed for ourselves under the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in South Sudan that was realized through the support of the UN, the AU, and key friendly nations. While our determination to fulfill to implement the provision of the agreement has been impacted by many challenges, foremost of which is the global COVID-19 pandemic outbreak and the limited resources needed for its implementation. It has enabled the formation of an inclusive transitional government of national unity, the establishment and operation of local governments, and setting up of the transitional national legislative assembly that are fervently serving the people. President Salva Kiir launched the national dialogue to complement the agreement while the revitalized peace process was underway. The national dialogue followed a bottom-up approach, conducting grassroots consultation that covers all the regions in the country and articulated the views and recommendations from the people on the South Sudan they would like to see and of a government that would be serving them. The President received the report of the National Dialogue in May 2021 and pledged to implement its recommendations. The same recommendations are providing the foundation as we embark on the process of developing our first ever constitution. Mr. President, the revitalized agreement and national dialogue are necessary historical steps in our country's quest for peace, but we are still far from building a nation that can provide essential services and development for our people. As national leaders, we admittedly have occurred mistakes that may have disappointed our friends, supporters, and the world. We have learned from those mistakes, and I am here to engage in constructive dialogue with our international partners, bearing in mind the lessons and consequences of our actions, and more importantly, the dreams, aspirations, and marching order from our people of the kind of government, society that they want. Permit me to highlight some key points on our efforts to bring about much needed peace, security, and development to our people. First, I would like to acknowledge that although our independence was product of the struggle and sacrifices of our people, we could not have won without the political and material support from our friends, allies, and partners from around the world. We are deeply grateful to them. Second, I want to assure our friends and partners that we are determined to never go back to war. We pledge to pursue the promises our liberators made to our people. We must ensure peace, security, dignity for all without distinction. We must replace the destruction of war with the productive use of our vast natural resources and national assets for good of our people. Third, we fully realize that the responsibility for pursuing this vision is our own as a people. We believe that the partnership we seek can only be accomplished through constructive, mutually beneficial engagements. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, the failure to fulfill the promises of our struggle is due to objective reasons for which our partners and ourselves must cooperate in finding practical solutions. While there should be no doubt about goodwill of President Salva Kiir and the government he leads to secure peace and the establishment of a just, peaceful, inclusive, and prosperous South Sudan, we need to identify and address the objective reasons for these failures. President Kiir has recently stated that it is now time to correct the past mistakes and open a new page for building a better future of peace, development, and prosperity for our people. Mr. President, we should recall that at our independence, the international community pledged to help build the capacity of our infant country in all areas of nation building. As a result, the United Nations mission in South Sudan, UNMISS, was created to help establish the foundations of our new nation. However, after the outbreak of war, that vision was abandoned, and priority was placed on protecting civilians and providing humanitarian assistance. As a result, support for capacity building of the state was terminated. The protection of civilians is a priority. As the Vice President responsible for the humanitarian cluster in our government, I champion this cause, but it should not be at the expense of capacity building and sustainable development. Building state capacities to govern responsibly and effectively is essential. It is also necessary to guard against the unintended consequences of dependency on humanitarian assistance. With the constant improvement in peace security, it is time to transition from emergency and place our efforts to resetting the sustainable development agenda. The development of the revitalized national development strategy is the government of South Sudan's clear and deliberate roadmap to accelerating the implementation of our axis while laying the foundations of sustainable peace and the stabilization of our economy. It is a painful and shameful situation for a country endowed with vast, fertile land to be regarded as poor. We must ensure peace and security in the country and double our efforts to support our people who wanted to return and are returning to their areas of origin, for them to participate fully in nation building and contribute to bringing food security in the country. At the core of our efforts are the youth. South Sudan is a young and youthful country, and we call on our partners to help us in our continuing efforts to develop the skills of women and youth, providing them with jobs and livelihood opportunities, and harnessing their energy and productive capacity to provide an alternative to picking up the gun again and engaging in destructive behavior. I am glad to note that encouraging steps have recently been taken in this direction. For example, our security forces and their UNMISS counterparts have begun to promote rural peace and security. We are soon unveiling a national youth service program and setting up a youth empowerment fund in partnership with the United Nations Development Program and other partners. The government welcomes and appreciates such fruitful and positive engagement. To fulfill the vision of our liberation struggle, we must use our oil revenues to fuel economic growth through investment in agriculture. We will invest in infrastructure to connect our rural communities to the markets. We need the public and private sectors, including foreign investors, to join hands in turning South Sudan's potential wealth into a reality. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, I am glad to report on the implementation of the various chapters of the agreement. We have formed executive and legislative organs at the national and state levels, in line with power sharing formulas in Chapter 1 of the agreement. More importantly, we have made significant progress in implementing public financial management reforms in Chapter 4. These measures have met the expectation of international financial institutions and other external partners. In addition, the constitution-making process has recently taken a significant step forward, and with convening a workshop that charted a roadmap towards the drafting and adoption of their permanent constitution. Towards drafting and adoption of the permanent constitution, the implementation of Chapter 5 on transitional justice, accountability, reconciliation, and healing is moving forward at a relatively slow pace. This is not for lack of political will, but rather for objective reasons that are addressing with our regional and international partners. We can therefore say that the glass is half full in the implementation of most chapters of the revitalized peace agreement. Where the glass remains half empty is in Chapter 2 on a permanent ceasefire and transitional security arrangements. There is an urgent need to form a unified professional army under one command and control. The security sector reform is the most challenging part of the agreement, as it contains elements at the center of the violent conflicts in the country. The parties to the agreement and other stakeholders should continue dialogue to build the mutual understanding and confidence needed to address and resolve long-standing differences. Building sustainable peace requires inclusivity, collective investment, determination, diligence, and patience. Mr. President, having celebrated the 10th anniversary of independence this year, the next decade, the United Nations Decade of Action to deliver on the SDGs by 2030, is an opportune moment that coincides with our efforts to develop the country's economy by investing in agriculture. Moreover, with the youth estimated at 73.6% of the population, the government promises to leverage women and young people's contribution to agriculture and economic development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, climate change has already impacted the lives of at least 1 million people across South Sudan. Torrential rains have resulted in the worst flooding in 60 years and have inundated villages and towns and destroyed livestock. South Sudan has developed and submitted its second nationally determined contribution, which lays out the framework
of the
country's string commitments to Paris Agreement and its contribution to the global effort to reduce emission to below 1.5 degrees Celsius, despite the country already having amongst the lowest carbon emission. The NDC not only places the country towards a sustainable low carbon growth pathway, but also develop its resilience against climate-induced shocks and stresses. South Sudan is contributing more than its fair share in reducing global emissions. Yet it is among the countries that is suffering the most from the impact of climate change. We call upon member states to aggressively respond to the call for action to further cut emissions if we are to avert catastrophic situation that will be a defining moment for mankind. South Sudan stands ready to help the world, and this is to our national interest, as we have the natural resources and capacity to enhance climate mitigation and adaptation measures. However, funding these measures is essential, and so we join the call to make climate finance accessible to developing countries to enable us to help the world more while also preventing climate change impacts from revising our developmental gains and increasing the vulnerability of our people and country from shocks and stresses. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, I am happy to report that bilateral relationship between South Sudan and Sudan has significantly improved. We have cooperated effectively to resolve our national problems, positively reinforcing our mutual relationship. There are, however, issues that still need to be resolved between our two countries. First and foremost is the issue of the contested area of Abyei. The Abyei Protocol of CPA already states the basis for resolving this issue. Unfortunately, we disagree on the implementation of the Abyei Protocol and have entered into several additional agreements without a final solution. Now Khartoum has called for the withdrawal of the Ethiopian forces in the United Nations Interim Security Force in Abyei. Any alternative arrangements will take time and leave a dangerous security gap in the area. This issue can be resolved peacefully through an arrangement that will give Abyei people their freedom and dignity. Moreover, that will enable them to play a positive role at the border between the two Sudans. We are determined to learn from the past and look forward to engaging in a constructive dialogue, revitalize cooperation, and being more effective in pursuing our shared objectives. We must make the revitalized peace agreement succeed, and we can only do that with support of our regional and international partners. Simply stated, South Sudan desires and is ready to turn a new page. Last, Mr. President, distinguished delegates, I have come to this assembly with the spirit of my late husband, Dr. John Garang de Mabior, and all those who paid the ultimate price in the struggle. It was a dream for Dr. John to liberate his people and address the global community at this very podium. Being here as a female vice president from an independent South Sudan, realized Dr. John's dream. Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished delegates, for this opportunity and your attention.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I wish to thank Her Excellency Rebecca Nyandeng de Mabior, Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, for her statement, and I request protocol to escort.
Thank you guys for watching. Then you have it. You have the interview from Vice President Mama Nyandeng. So you had it. That is the today speak from UN General Assembly. So you guys have it. Wonderful speech. For those of you who are watching, I know that I just bring this one. It's a breaking news. I would bring people to listen to the speech. Thank you for the yeah, Charles and the rest people who are asking for the link. Yeah, let me give the link out because I'm at work, so and I don't want to do this as opening discussion, but I will welcome people for 30 minutes so that I can have people. So I send the link, guys. Click the link, so I will be here for within 20 to 30 minutes, and I will be ending the show. So before I asking the rest to join me, and I would like to say this. Today I was watching one of the show, and people were saying that by President delegate, they're all Dinka. David Moore, I think, hang on, let me send this. David Moore, I send out the link, see here there, and check it into your inbox too. Guy, I sent the link out, so before I click that link that I sent out, and then you can able to come in. Okay. Hello, Paul. Welcome to Next Day Media. How you doing? So
Good.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was just doing this breaking news for the vice president speech today, and I just do it this so people can see the speech from vice president. And before I give you a chance, I just want to say this to my fellow South Sudanese. Today I was watching the show, and some of our South Sudanese were saying that they were complaining actually that by president delegate, they're all Dinka. So I have some of debate with my colleague from South Sudan. Here's the issues, guys. I see there's nothing wrong with the vice president that they had delegate are all from Dinka. So regardless, we need to stay away from see everything in tribal line. This is the very negative, and this is what not our country is moving forward. Well, when we see everything and then we judge, oh, this thing is a tribal, it's a Dinka thing. So instead of to see things as a country, South Sudan is a country, it's not a Dinka country. So I would like to say that, and some of some of you guys can talk about these issues. Machar, I sent the link inside the inbox. I mean, not inbox, so on the comment side, so you can see that and then click that and you can be able to come. Brother Paul, welcome to the same media. So what do you think about the speech from the vice president?
Thank you again. Thank you, Badit. Yes, we have to stay away from negativity sometimes, but those are positions, but politics should not be brought sometimes to such kind of thing. But we know that there is some people who be critical about the way they feel. But to me, I think the speech is good. She did very well. She did good. She did very good. She did very good. That is very, very, very well. I hope that is well done. She did a good job. But I think the thing also she was talking about is a good thing. But sometimes in politics, people don't take things. I mean, if the delegate is whoever come, what we want a positive thing from what the speech. Like what she was saying, she's not talking about people in the delegate. Whether they're all Dengas, that's okay. What we want South Sudan to, we need to be proud to have a country that will be present to United Nations. That's what all we need to be proud of. Whoever that come from Juba, whatever, Denka or Kuku, whoever, it doesn't matter. We need that to be proud that we have a flag. We have a people in the UN. This is a good thing. So politics, sometimes we have to put it behind us. And then in the real world, we could not do that. We all want the best for what this exists, that this is international community. That to have somebody can pick behalf of us all. It doesn't matter disagreement of the politics, who was in the power, where we're going. Yes, we know people are suffering. We know, okay, the government is not doing good for its own people. That is true. But should be other day that people could talk about it. Should be other day. Not everything is perfect. But so to me, but I don't talk too much. But I think what I came for years, she did good. Also, she's carrying a tradition dress. But that dress, then somebody said, "Oh, that is a solo." It doesn't matter. That is a tradition. It's all South Sudanese tradition. So it doesn't matter. It's a solo thing. All is a Sudanese. It's what is presenting a South Sudan tradition thing. So we all, I'm happy that she done that. So I think this is all I could just say. So don't mind those ones, talking a negativity thing, But those are the ones that they just come for just talk, but they don't see the benefit what the politics is. So yeah, that what is I think I could say she did a good job. I think I'm happy what she did. She did very well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother Paul. That's exactly because she talked more specific topic. She talked about economy. She talked about climate change, as you see.
Right.
And this is one of the things that climate change is a big factor now. You see the flooding in South Sudan.
That's
So people, thousands and thousands are displaced due to flooding.
that's
And
true.
this is the one of the things that I could advise the government of South Sudan. They're supposed to declare the state of emergency to those areas that are affected by flooding and
That
help
is
those
true.
people, you know. And that's one of the things. And another thing too, she talked about the youth. 75% youth in South Sudan that there and they are jobless. They don't have jobs. And this is
Right.
one of the things that Vice President mentioned about that, and we need to talk because and this is one of the this youth they need jobs. It's a government job to create more job for the youth to be employed. And also she talked about the peace, you see. And this is the peace now is crumbling around, but South Sudanese have to support this peace, and we have to this. The only way South Sudan can come together is only peace, not a war. South Sudan cannot afford to go back to war again. So go ahead with those topics. General
Yeah.
Brad General Charles, welcome to Let's Say Media.
Thank you.
It doesn't mean to say it or Sally's say it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Put your word, and then I will give a chance to Charles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, like what you said is true. I think government have to do something because the flood has been going on for so long, every year, and this is also the thing that causing other people moving to the dry land where the flood could not come, and then they go there for the season, and then they don't go back another season, because if they go back, they will pose the same problem. So I think the government also should do a good job, digging a small canal where the water could run and building bridges. Then water could get away where water cannot go everywhere in the forest or in the desert. So I think government have to do that, because this is the problem, causing problem to other people, because these people, they will say, well, because there is flooding, I cannot go there because my cattle is not going to have a good health, which we know, because during flooding, they bring a lot of things. When the water receives, then the cattle get sick, the goat, everything. There is some diseases coming with all these things, So that's why sometimes you see these people, they don't go back. They want to go to the dry land to stay there for good. So they don't want to come back to fight the same problem. So I hope the government will listen. For you, like you how you are close to them, maybe they can listen. They could do some development. That is not a big thing. You can build canal and take the water somewhere else. That's all they could do. So I think that is for me, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, brother Charles Taylor, welcome to Let's Say Media. So what do you think about the speech of Vice President?
Thank you, Comrade Madit, and the viewers of Lake State Media. And of course, one of your guests, but I believe this is Paulo Julu. Am I right?
Yes, that is Paulo Julu. Yes, you are right.
Okay. Okay, how are you, Paulo Julu?
Good.
Okay. Yeah, I know you're good in propaganda. So, yeah, you still with the Juba propaganda? Yes, the viewers of Lake State Media and Comrade Madit, thank for getting me the link and coming to the show. This is the worst speech ever.
There you go again.
Why?
Because that thing would be good to you, isn't it? Yes. So why you say it's worst speech? Come on, say it.
First of all, it started with the delegation. The delegation are 99.1 are Dinka.
Right?
That's totally.
I'm going to debate with you about that topic because I'm the one. I see you early talk about this, so we will talk about it.
Please, please,
Go ahead,
please.
go ahead.
Just go make your point.
Go ahead, Charles.
99, that is not a representation of the nation. If we're a country, we have to be represented. South Sudan have 90 tribes, you know, try to show some color. Look, when they bring that, when they zoom, there was uncles, there was nephew there with a JC, you see? So this is an indication all of them are Dinka, right? So that is an unfortunate, brother Madit. Not because we are the Dinka, but Kelita will come into Fadia Shwea, right? Kelita will cover Rabona, right? Kana jede lakbatu, jibu full, jibu simsim, jibu jede lopwede, jibu and ajade kulu lubia, yan janjaro, ya godora lakbatu kulu bukun kwais. Right? Mulade bitala helo and it give proteins to the body, right? And national unity. So that was, you know, of course, is a tarnish to our national unity. Again, Rebecca talked about peace. There's no peace in the country. The Dr. Riek is attacking us in Kitgwang day and night. We are in sleepless. You know, the POCs are still in jail. You know, for the 8 years, they do nothing to relieve it. You know, internal displaced persons are still suffering. The national security themselves are killing people day and night. What have they done to improve this peace? So there's no peace. Dr. Riek become a prisoner of war in Juba, right? As a mark, Talabara, there's salam or there's a peace. But there's no sign of peace there. You know, there's a discriminated peace. You know, there are people who are enjoying peace and there are people who are not enjoying peace. So the country is in a total chaos and is still not in peace, and people are still in fear, you know, because of the insecurity imposed by the government. The security, what we call the emergency act that was imposed, you know, by Salva Kiir has not been taken away.
Charlie, before we go ahead, because there's something that you mentioned. You said that the delegates are all Dinka. Also, Sue, can you see?
How could he tell?
Yes, exactly.
I say 99%.
How could you know Denga?
Only the person who was not Dinka there was the lady from Ajede, from Kobeta. The brown lady. That's the only one. The Minister for Environment. The problem you don't know. If you bring Ajede, Benjamin Marial is from this Ural, right? He knows better. Lake State, right? Am I right?
No, Benjamin is a Noir. He's a Noir. He's a Noir.
Yes.
But he's a Noir. His mate. His mother Denga, his father Noir. But the question is, how could you tell the color of Denga and the color of the Denga of Dr. Yeli?
Charles is pros. Welcome, Isaac.
Abraham, how you doing, man?
Hey, Charlie, Isaac.
Yeah.
You break my rule. Can you go outside and change your name to Isaac? I don't want that because this, let's say, media, we don't have. I know we allow everyone to come, but the logo that you put, it's not good. So go back outside and change your name to your real name. Thank you. Well, our Junubin, that's our idea. So, Charles.
Don't bring blind people here. Lazima upata usaptoma with clear names. Yes,
Charles, I will not push you hard because, you know,
go ahead.
If some of the guys, yes, if some of the guys in other show were here, I should debate a lot, but I'm not going to let you go that easily. Because, Charles,
yes,
even though you didn't see your tribal man or lady from Tahile is not in that delegate, doesn't mean that other tribes are not there.
No, but
for example, hang on. For example, our ambassador of the United States, our ambassador in the United States is not from Dinka. Diobiti is not from Dinka.
We are talking about the delegation. Don't mix things. Let's talk about the delegation.
These are the delegation too.
No, they
They
are
are
in America.
delegation.
These are the hosts in America. We are talking
They
the
are
delegations that are
delegation.
coming from South Sudan.
They are delegation too. So we need to see things in different, angle, Charles. We don't need to see everything in based on tribal. This is the reason why our country, our people are stuck where they are now. There's no development because everything criticized. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you. I appreciate that. And this is the reason why we see our people are not moving forward because of we see everything is tribal thing. Because by president, she came with her delegate to represent our country. And she speak very well. The speech that she give is a wonderful, it's a wonderful speech. We should give her credit. So instead of doing that, you see other negative part. You see everything negative, negative, and that will not move us forward. Why don't we?
I have not even talked.
No, you already talk. You already talk,
No,
Charles.
I just talk about one. I've not talked about the speech.
Yeah, so that thing alone is my advice to you, Charlie, and the rest. Let us stay away from tribalist mindset. And let's see things in a different way that we are nationalists, we are South Sudanese. Charles Medit, we are South Sudanese. I don't see you, Charlie, you are from Tahiti. Or you don't see me, and I'm from Europe. You see? So let us see other brothers from South Sudan. And this is how we can bring peace, sustainability, development, unity among our people. So leader like you, Charles, or leader like me and Isaac, we should speak the word of peace and the word that can unite our people, not the word that we can divide our community. That is not good. That's the point that I want to correct it, Charles. Yeah, go ahead. And I will give a chance the floor to Isaac.
I've not talked. Let me finish and then let Isaac talk. I will finish it. Don't worry.
يا جماعة أنا ما جاي للموضوع, but honestly, yeah, we our people already know what the problem is. That's I keep saying that over and over. Right now, everybody know what the problem is, and they're trying to solve it. Our people, they don't want no tribal mind anymore. Now people thinking about what's next. So now let's think about Rebecca Nyandeng's speech. Okay. Mama Rebecca Nyandeng, my people, we know we went through a lot, all these years. I'll be honest, we need to think about this twice because Mama Nyandeng, she came to us. This one here, she came by herself. Okay. Uh, her speech, it was well, and she did speak about what is going on in the country. Uh, Even she got emotionally, and she said, I came to here because I came with a Jongarang spirit. So my people, let's think about how we're gonna help as a citizens, because they say if we don't clean our heart and just think about how we're gonna get along with Mama Rebecca now, maybe that's the way out. Now maybe that's the peace coming by itself to us. So why we don't sit down with her like she's coming to Omaha next month on the 2nd? Uh, we sit down to her with her as a South Sudanese and ask her questions for wherever we want to ask her and see what we can help. Because right now we're not gonna keep sitting here and cry about Riak and Kir anymore. It's time for us to to move forward. So before, I don't like to say this, but honestly, before the citizen even they react by themselves, because this is what is going to cause the revolution. So there's two ways of revolution. People they don't know, uh, revolution throw over the government, or revolution changing the system that people don't like. So, uh, bottom line, let's move
Welcome, what?
forward. Let's move forward and give uh, Mama Rebecca a chance, because she know what the problem is and she been there. And I hope the way she said about her husband Jongarang, our leader. Let's uh let's give this a chance. I kind of feel good about it. I don't know why, but I feel about this. So yeah, that's my word to you guys. Instead we argue, let's
Thank you, Ahmed.
figure it out. Yep. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Isaac.
Mm.
What Peter? Can you welcome? Welcome. Yeah, go ahead. So, what do you think about the piece? The speech from
Madid,
Vice President?
am I gonna finish my speech or my analysis?
I will go. I will put back. I will turn the microphone back to you, Charles. Hang on.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Welcome, Peter, propagandist.
Charlie, that's the problem with you. You waste your time without even saying your perspective on the whole topic. Thank you, Abraham Madid, and also thank you to the viewers and those who are in the panel. Um, the whole speech, if I have to read it as a person on the media side who always try to be fair, where we have to be in the middle of things, I could read Mama Nyandeng at a C, and it depends on individual on, because the whole thing we have different perspective of seeing things, especially things that are related to political in South Sudan. There are things that she fell short of, and there are things that she did well on them as a government representative. It will depend on individual. But the most important things as a media, we have to get hold of Rebecca Nyandeng, and I am sure if we fail to bring her here, we might see her somewhere else. But I'm gonna hold I'm gonna hold my opinion there, and I will elaborate it more later on why I had to rate it in a C. Otherwise,
Peter, Charles is asking you why you rated C.
well, I don't want Charlie to take my argument as where she wanted to, because usually Charlie take whatever you said as going to be his agenda. Well, the reason I have rated Mama Nyandeng C, one, first of all, if her whole speech failed on what the government can do, particularly on the issues. That's one. Second, yes, of course, she point out what the problem are. Now, particularly, how do we tackle the problem? So I have to be fair there. She elaborate what the problem is, but there were no concrete where, for example, the partner that she's talking about be like, okay, well, this is what the South Sudan government is going to do. So we will put out our pledge that we have said we are going to help South Sudan in the whole process. So there I have to say, in that sense, it fell short of expectation from perspective of the partners. On the other hand, yes, she make it clear. She point out what the problem is, but the problem is how are they going to be tackled that she fell short of. And I will go more later in detail why on this particular, whether it's economic, whether it's peace. So that's what I have to point out at this point. But for me to certify, I had to get her aware to, we'll make sure she came to Lagos State media.
Yeah, we will try. We will try. Peter, we are in it, so probably we will bring Vice President here in Leicester Media for interview. So it will be good. Okay, back to Charles. You said that you didn't finish your point.
Thank you. For me to rate the Peter Ken, he got a D. So Peter Ken.
And that's fine. That's your opinion. You have to rate her and say like, why do you have to rate her? So
no, I know I rate you. For me, you both have a D. So or F.
I
why?
don't have a credibility. That's a problem. Why would you rate me anyway?
Because of your analysis.
All right. Okay, and that's fine. That's your opinion. I'm okay with D.
Okay, not F, eh? Okay.
It doesn't matter whether it is above D, then I'm not going to change your opinion.
Drive safe, please. We don't want you to miss you. Okay? Brother Madit, let's go back to the topic. The reasons why I say it's the worst is speed. She talked about the security part. Even Peter Ken said that, she didn't give what? A solution, right? She failed even to talk about how to bring peace in South Sudan, especially now that there's insecurity across. The Kitgwang problem with the government partners, like as Riek Machar. She didn't talk about it. She did not even talk about how the peace agreement, the peace negotiation in Rome is taking place. He did not elaborate that to the United Nations and to the people of South Sudan. So that's the total peace. This is also indicators that the country is not in peace, but is still in war. On security sides, he talk about the unified forces. The unified forces have been in the training center for 2 years. Nothing has been done, and she has never even given anything that have what that the government and the peace partners have done to what to solve the problem of the security graduation, that the unified forces graduation. And she said that people are still negotiating. For how long are people going to negotiate the security arrangement? And he said this is very sensitive area. Okay, for 2 years, right? The security and the protection of peace. If that means the security sector, the unified forces are not graduated, that means there is no peace in the country, right? There is war still. There is nobody protecting people. That's why people are seeing the POCs. That's why people are leaving the country. That's why people have been killed day and night in Juba and across other cities. She talked about POCs, about the internally displaced persons. She said she's a humanitarian person who is the vice president cluster for humanitarian affairs. But also, the people in the POCs and the IDPs are suffering. She has done nothing to bring these people who are suffering. But okay, the people in the POCs and the IDPs are suffering. Somebody is done nothing to bring these people. What's going on? Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yes. I will mute everybody.
Yes, mute them. So, regarding the POCs, she talk about the POCs. The problem, she did not even talk what are the POCs, the people in the protecting of civilians camps are facing. She did not bring it out. The IDPs, internally displaced person, the refugees, as somebody in charge of humanitarian disasters, she did not talk about the flood that is disturbed the whole, almost maybe the whole of Upper Nile state, 3/4 of the states. She did not talk about the flood in Warab and other parts.
She mentioned it. She talked about the climate change.
No, I'm coming. That's a different, climate change is a different thing.
No, climate change, that's the reason why she cannot, what are you saying there? You said that she want to break it down, the area, but climate change, that's what she meant.
I will come to the climate change, don't worry. So She did not collaborate anything there for the solution that can, resolve the problem of IDPs and the POCs. Okay, she talked that the people, the UNIMENS, in South Sudan have turned down, to the protection of civilians instead of developing structures for the government. Which one is the priority? Is it the structures or the protection of a human being? They are muscular. So the UNIMES are right to protect the citizens. And this is the failures of the security sector of the government of South Sudan that Nyandeng is talking about. Because of the failures of the government to protect the civilians, that's why the uniforms are now turning themselves from building the nation, building institutions, to protection of the civilians. So, Abiy protocol. She talked about the Abiy protocol. She also failed here terribly. That the Sudanese government are asking the Ethiopian forces and the UNIMES and other people, forces that are protecting the Abiy to leave. Again, what did South Sudan do, to resolve the Abiy problem? The Abiy voted themselves in October, in a referendum. And they voted unanimously for the independence of Abiy in support of what? Of South Sudan, to be with South Sudanese, But that vote, up to today, the government in Juba refused to approve the Abiy protocol, the Abiy votes. So who do you blame here? You are not blaming the people of Abiy, or you are blaming Khartoum here. You failed to support and stand with the people of Abiy. The Abiy people have been suffering since, since our independence. The Abiy people did not have any freedom. Their rights have been, violated. They contributed in the liberation of South Sudan. But why the government is not contributing for the liberation of the people of Abiy? This is the question we're asking. Why the government is keeping quiet on the votes of Abiy that supported independence, that they are South Sudanese and they should be part and parcel of South Sudan. And they voted unanimously to be with South Sudanese people. Why the government, why the parliament in Juba refused to endorse the Abiy protocol? You cannot blame the Khartoum here. What did the South Sudanese do? If now the UNIMES, the South Sudanese forces say that, the Sudan government say, okay, let the forces all go.
Okay, Charlie.
Vice President,
we have a lot of people coming in.
Just I'm just summarizing. I'm summarizing.
Yeah, 1 minute.
1 minute. Yeah. Yes, correct. So the Vice President Rebecca Nyandeng failed to give a solution. Are they going to put South Sudan as a SPDF to go and protect the people of Abiy? We did not hear that from Nyandeng. And this is a question you should ask as a journalist when she comes here. So Abiy protocol, the government of South Sudan failed the people of Abiy. The parliament failed to endorse the votes of Abiy in support of South Sudan as part and parcel of South Sudanese people. And the government is responsible for letting Abiy people down. Coming to the environment, that's the talk about, that South Sudan will contribute to
Thank you, brother Charles Deng.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your thought. Finish it.
Okay.
30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds is enough. So the environment, brother Medit and all the guests here, do we have industries? Indian industries are to pollute the air? That is South Sudan. Do we have scientists to contribute to the international community to protect the environment, or to protect the climate change that people are talking about in the UN? We are talking about pollution here. Nyandeng should be talking that they are working very hard to stop deforestation in South Sudan. Deforestation, they are cutting of trees. Cutting of trees. She should be talking this, that they are minimizing. They are trying to use other techniques. So how people, build a solar ban, the solar in Numule to produce electricity so that people cannot use farm. This could be what she could be telling the United Nations people of South Sudan to reduce the climate change. Last, about the youth. She talk about youth national program that they are going to establish. Yal gala bugomar, yal gigen tsejera, yal bedugu biga gali Toronto gangs. There's nothing that has been produced to the youth. Think they have been recruiting the youth to go and die. This is the future generations, you know. And she say the last one, you know, and then I give to you, is about saying that she come with the spirit of Dr. Gereng and late other matters of the South Sudan. But you know what? Gereng is not happy. That's why, you know, he's even she's not able to deliver good speech to the UN because he's not happy for the liberation that they die for. People are still dying in thousands. People are dying after liberation. People are dying when we have oil. People are dying because of the failures of Salva Kiir and all Nyandeng and Riek Machar and Hussein Abdelbagi and all the chokrots in Juba.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Charles. Welcome. Let me welcome my new guest, Comrade Dinga and Comrade Abbott. Welcome to Link State Media. I will be going according to the line. Dinga, unmute yourself. It's your turn. What do you think about the speech that Mama Nyandeng, Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, gave today?
Thank you, Madid. Are you listening to me?
Yes.
Am I clear?
Yeah, you are clear, yeah.
Okay. I am really upset. I'm not happy with it.
Why?
Why? Because the problem is how the world is viewing South Sudan in the UN today with Nyandeng or anybody who was always advocating for South Sudan to be given to UN or Salva Kiir must go or, you know, the government is not working. Today, it's the same people like Mama Nyandeng who used to be against the government is the one that sent to the UN. She should have tell the world how they come together instead of nonsense. How they become one party or one or different parties with agreement for the South Sudanese to go forward with peace. I didn't hear that. I hear all those things that are not even going in my mind. Because I respect Mama Nyandeng to come and say, okay, we come to the government. Dr. Yang Michar, G10, all the rebels, and we unite our hands. And this is what we will do for next 1 year. This is where we can get even to election. She didn't say all that. And that's what South Sudanese were waiting. The unification of these parties, how they come together to bring South Sudan together and to take South Sudan forward. That's what was in my mind to listen to her, but she didn't. So tell me, anybody who listening today in this show, tell me how the world is viewing us in that United Nations. It's viewing us that we are people who just, you know, when you become vice president, you go to the government and you turn around and say, oh, the government is working. And that hit me the most. That's what I don't like with this speech. I didn't want to see Mama Nyandeng to be seen by the world as somebody who returned to Juba, just to say, here I am. I become vice president. So the government is working. The world is asking, why it was not working when you were not there? When you guys were even asking the UN to take over South Sudan. Is it working now because you become vice president? That's come to my mind. And that's how the world see us as South Sudanese. Thank you for inviting me. And that's
thank you.
I'm here.
Thank you, before I give a chance to what, let me ask you this question. Some of the South Sudanese, like Charles Tifon, Tahili, are complaining. They're saying that the delegate or by President Dr. By President Mama Nyandeng, the old Dinka.
Yeah.
So what do you say about that?
I always tell Charles, this is not about Dinkas.
And this is
You
not
guys,
Charles alone.
yeah,
Go ahead. Let Dinka you pros. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, it's clear. I can hear you.
Okay. Then Dinka is pros. Anyway, before he will be back. Go ahead. What is your turn?
Yeah, well, Madid, shukran. I want to then hire, your panelists, the audience. It is good actually that you made this show because while ago you might have seen me, on the show with Comrade Edward and also the others gentlemen from South Sudan. Is it clear? You guys hear me?
Yeah, you are clear about. Yeah,
Yeah,
you are
good,
clear.
good, good. So I was on the show, with the Comrade Edward for the others gentlemen a while ago, and you have seen the heated argument, about the tribalism in South Sudan and how the delegation majority were Dinka, and for some other reason, I was not allowed to explain what my reply was and what it meant. So yes, with that, Sudan, our people of South Sudan, we are in limbo, and it will be difficult for to get to the bottom line, because now we are blamed that Denka are become not the song, and some people they want to become the opposition, they want to make a change in South Sudan, and without making themselves correction, and also to stay in the direction of consistency, it will be very difficult because a denkal bugulu gal fi delegation da hal denka dur umbo jobbas bi faya o mu kan shagali fi hakuma, so I think when I was expelled from that show, most of you have seen that one, and we can actually move onward if we cannot allow to explain ourselves, what kind of messages we are delivering. You cannot call for unity and then later on going to call for separation. Like now, we've been hearing this one in the media for a very long time. Charles Tahili is right here. He was making a song about Ngungdeng. He was Ngungdeng. He converted from Christianity to Ngungdeng. And now what happened? Young Machar let him out, even though he was a good guy, he was a defender of Young Machar, So what I want to say is this, before I go to the topic, what you brought up, yeah, Brother Medit, Junubin have to know that Al Junubda, for us to get into the right direction, we must, distance ourselves from an illustration of Gabalia, if you want to make a better South Sudan, because in the end, unity is the only solution for us to move forward. But if others are allowed to tarnish, the one ethnicity, and then when you want to come, and try to respond, and you become, the bad guy, you become the predators. Isn't man that becomes up, because yeah, this is very clear. In 2013, when the war broke out, hell, people now they've been claiming that all the Nuer were the one who were killing. So no, that's not correct. Including by President now in Washington D.C. Nyandeng, the man who could 2 days of the civil into the war of 2013, she claimed that it was a Nuer and Denka war, and now she's now in the United Nations. And is she a Dinka or Nuer? So those are actually those statements that are made by the leaders are the problem. So the only way for us to move forward is to unite together, Kajinubin. And also, if we are not giving a chance for freedom of speech, people to speak their mind, and at the same time, there are those who are calling for people who get detained or get arrested to be released, while also they are not, impartial. That's not gonna work, you know. So recently, we heard a lot about those people who were linked with the PCCA, you know, and now they claim to be the good guys. No, it's not gonna work. If we want to make changes, let us try to unite Junubin, because unity is the only solution. Support the election of September 12th. September 12th, 2018 peace agreement. When it expired, it will expire and the election will take place. Whether you like that one or not, that's the best option we have. Why it is the best option? Because it becomes the African peace. And this African peace, it will end as an African implementation. And that will be a credit for Shabi. So now to your topic. So about the visit of Nyandeng to Washington DC. It is good that we have a female vice president in South Sudan, even though we disagree with five vice president, but it's good. She's a female, first time female to represent South Sudan in East Africa in particular. I think maybe she's the third woman, if I'm not mistaken, to come to Washington DC. I didn't listen to her speech, but I just get a little synopsis, what she was saying when she was talking about, remembering her late husband.
So, do you guys want to play? Do you want me to play again the video?
Yeah, sure, do that, so I can be able to.
Okay. Before I did that, Carbino, I sent the link in your inbox, and also I pinned down.
Are you not going to work here, Madid? Don't matter Karabu Gurusu Makalamde.
I don't got to be my chocolate samu.
You play it first. Play that one. So
the corruption that with JC.
Oh, you see, Charles. It's start to be a tribal man. We are so.
But play it so I can respond.
Play the
video.
video.
Let me bring it up.
The Assembly will hear an address by Her Excellency Rebecca Nyandeng de Mabior, Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan. May I request protocol to escort Her Excellency. I have great pleasure in welcoming Her Excellency Rebecca Nyandeng de Mabior, Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, and I invite her to address the General Assembly. Madam.
Your Excellency, President of the General Assembly, Your Excellency, Secretary General of the United Nations, Your Excellencies, heads of the delegation, and fellow delegates, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of President, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, I stand before you to share the recent development in our country. I intend to do so in the spirit of constructive engagement. On July 9, 2011, we emerged from a long liberation struggle against oppression and domination. After 10 years of independence, we remain on a path of nation building founded on the vision and inspiration of our liberation struggle and what we have committed for ourselves under the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflicts in South Sudan that was realized through the support of the UN, the AU, and key friendly nations. While our determination to fulfill to implement the provision of the agreement has been impacted by many challenges, foremost of which is the global COVID-19 pandemic outbreak and the limited resources needed for its implementation. It has enabled the formation of an inclusive transitional government of national unity, the establishment and operation of local governments, and setting up of the transitional national legislative assembly that are fervently serving the people. President Salva Kiir launched the national dialogue to complement the agreement while the revitalized peace process was underway. The national dialogue followed a bottom-up approach, conducting grassroots consultation that covers all the regions in the country and articulated the views and recommendations from the people on the South Sudan they would like to see and of a government that would be serving them. The President received the report of the National Dialogue in May 2021 and pledged to implement its recommendations. The same recommendations are providing the foundation as we embark on the process of developing our first ever constitution. Mr. President, the revitalized agreement and national dialogue are necessary historical steps in our country's quest for peace, but we are still far from building a nation that can provide essential services and development for our people. As national leaders, we admittedly have occurred mistakes that may have disappointed our friends, supporters, and the world. We have learned from those mistakes, and I am here to engage in constructive dialogue with our international partners, bearing in mind the lessons and consequences of our actions, and more importantly, the dreams, aspirations, and marching order from our people of the kind of government, society that they want. Permit me to highlight some key points on our efforts to bring about much needed peace, security, and development to our people. First, I would like to acknowledge that although our independence was product of the struggle and sacrifices of our people, we could not have won without the political and material support from our friends, allies, and partners from around the world. We are deeply grateful to them. Second, I want to assure our friends and partners that we are determined to never go back to war. We pledge to pursue the promises our liberators made to our people. We must ensure peace, security, dignity for all without distinction. We must replace the destruction of war with the productive use of our vast natural resources and national assets for good of our people. Third, we fully realize that the responsibility for pursuing this vision is our own as a people. We believe that the partnership we seek can only be accomplished through constructive, mutually beneficial engagements. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, the failure to fulfill the promises of our struggle is due to objective reasons for which our partners and ourselves must cooperate in finding practical solutions. While there should be no doubt about goodwill of President Salva Kiir and the government he leads to secure peace and the establishment of a just, peaceful, inclusive, and prosperous South Sudan, we need to identify and address the objective reasons for these failures. President Kiir has recently stated that it is now time to correct the past mistakes and open a new page for building a better future of peace, development, and prosperity for our people. Mr. President, we should recall that at our independence, the international community pledged to help build the capacity of our infant country in all areas of nation building. As a result, the United Nations mission in South Sudan, UNMISS, was created to help establish the foundations of our new nation. However, after the outbreak of war, that vision was abandoned and priority was placed on protecting civilians and providing humanitarian assistance. As a result, support for capacity building of the state was terminated. The protection of civilians is a priority. As the Vice President responsible for the humanitarian cluster in our government, I champion this cause, but it should not be at the expense of capacity building and sustainable development. Building states' capacities to govern responsibly and effectively is essential. It is also necessary to guard against the unintended consequences of dependency on humanitarian assistance. With the constant improvement in peace security, it is time to transition from emergency and place our efforts to resetting the sustainable development agenda. The development of the revitalized national development strategy is the government of South Sudan's clear and deliberate roadmap to accelerating the implementation of our axis while laying the foundations of sustainable peace and the stabilization of our economy. It is a painful and shameful situation for a country endowed with vast fertile land to be regarded as poor. We must ensure peace and security in the country and double our efforts to support our people who wanted to return and are returning to their areas of origin, for them to participate fully in nation building and contribute to bringing food security in the country. At the core of our efforts are the youth. South Sudan is a young and youthful country, and we call on our partners to help us in our continuing efforts to develop the skills of women and youth, providing them with jobs and livelihood opportunities, and harnessing their energy and productive capacity to provide an alternative to picking up the gun again and engaging in destructive behavior. I am glad to note that encouraging steps have recently been taken in this direction. For example, our security forces and their UNMISS counterparts have begun to promote rural peace and security. We are soon unveiling a national youth service program and setting up a youth empowerment fund in partnership with the United Nations Development Program and other partners. The government welcomes and appreciates such fruitful and positive engagements. To fulfill the vision of our liberation struggle, we must use our oil revenues to fuel economic growth through investment in agriculture. We will invest in infrastructure to connect our rural communities to the markets. We need the public and private sectors, including foreign investors, to join hands in turning South Sudan's potential wealth into a reality. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, I am glad to report on the implementation of the various chapters of the agreement. We have formed executive and legislative organs at the national and state levels, in line with power sharing formulas in Chapter 1 of the agreement. More importantly, we have made significant progress in implementing public financial management reforms in Chapter 4. These measures have met the expectation of international financial institutions and other external partners. In addition, the constitution-making process has recently taken a significant steps forward, and with convening a workshop that charted a roadmap towards the drafting and adoption of their permanent constitution. Towards drafting and adoption of the permanent constitution, the implementation of Chapter 5 on transitional justice, accountability, reconciliation, and healing is moving forward at a relative slow pace. This is not for lack of political will, but rather for objective reasons that are addressing with our regional and international partners. We can therefore say that the glass is half full in the implementation of most chapters of the revitalized peace agreement. Where the glass remains half empty is in Chapter 2 on a permanent ceasefire and transitional security arrangements. There is an urgent need to form a unified professional army under one command and control. The security sector reform is the most challenging part of the agreement, as it contains elements at the center of the violent conflicts in the country. The parties to the agreement and other stakeholders should continue dialogue to build the mutual understanding and confidence needed to address and resolve long-standing differences. Building sustainable peace requires inclusivity, collective investment, determination, diligence, and patience. Mr. President, having celebrated the 10th anniversary of independence this year, the next decade, the United Nations Decade of Action to deliver on the SDGs by 2030, is an opportune moment that coincides with our efforts to develop the country's economy by investing in agriculture. Moreover, with the youth estimated at 73.6% of the population, the government promises to leverage women and young people's contribution to agriculture and economic development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, climate change has already impacted the lives of at least 1 million people across South Sudan. Torrential rains have resulted in the worst flooding in 60 years and have inundated villages and towns and destroyed livestock. South Sudan has developed and submitted its second nationally determined contribution, which lays out the framework of the country's string commitments to Paris Agreement and its contribution to the global effort to reduce emissions to below 1.5 degrees Celsius, despite the country already having amongst the lowest carbon emission. The NDC not only places the country towards a sustainable low-carbon growth pathway, but also develop its resilience against climate-induced shocks and stresses. South Sudan is contributing more than its fair share in reducing global emissions. Yet it is amongst the countries that is suffering the most from the impact of climate change. We call upon member states to aggressively respond to the call for action to further cut emissions if we are to avert catastrophic situation that will be a defining moment for mankind. South Sudan stands ready to help the world, and this is to our national interests, as we have the natural resources and capacity to enhance climate mitigation and adaptation measures. However, funding these measures is essential, and so we join the call to make climate finance accessible to developing countries to enable us to help the world more while also preventing climate change impacts from revising our developmental gains and increasing the vulnerability of our people and country from shocks and stresses. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, I am happy to report that bilateral relationship between South Sudan and Sudan has significantly improved. We have cooperated effectively to resolve our national problems, positively reinforcing our mutual relationship. There are, however, issues that still need to be resolved between our two countries. First and foremost is the issue of the contested area of Abyei. The Abyei Protocol of CPA already states the basis for resolving this issue. Unfortunately, we disagree on the implementation of the Abyei Protocol and have entered into several additional agreements without a final solution. Now Khartoum has called for the withdrawal of the Ethiopian forces in the United Nations Interim Security Force in Abyei. Any alternative arrangements will take time and leave a dangerous security gap in the area. This issue can be resolved peacefully through an arrangement that will give Abyei people their freedom and dignity. Moreover, that will enable them to play a positive role at the border between the two Sudans. We are determined to learn from the past and look forward to engaging in a constructive dialogue, revitalize cooperation, and being more effective in pursuing our shared objectives. We must make the revitalized peace agreement succeed, and we can only do that with support of our regional and international partners. Simply stated, South Sudan desires and is ready to turn a new page. Last, Mr. President, distinguished delegates, I have come to this assembly with the spirit of my late husband, Dr. John Garang de Mabior, and all those who paid the ultimate price in the struggle. It was a dream for Dr. John to liberate his people and address the global community at this very podium. Being here as a female vice president from an independent South Sudan realized Dr. John's dream. Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished delegates, for this opportunity and your attention.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I wish to thank Her Excellency Rebecca Nyandeng de Mabior, Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, for her statement, and I request protocol to escort her.
There you have it. Thank you, guys. Have you it up good? So the floor was yours.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the speech was good. But also there was a mistake, in the language of Vice President Nyandeng, he made a couple of errors. Also, I want to recall what has happened. The first company that was opened in South Sudan was a beer company called Wild Bull. And she was responsible for that. That indicate whatever speech she made here and what she has done in the past are two contradictory. Yes, we can call for the international community to help us, but we, the people of South Sudan, they're the leaders. Now they are in charge. What have they done? They have done nothing, and their presence there is not to serve us, but to to steal and corrupt our country. This little resource we have. So yes, she has spoken. The language that she used. She has spoken a couple of nice stuff, but speaking nice without action, it does not do anything right. You know. So I am sure she's the first high official from the South Sudan government to speak a very very eloquent language. I can give her that credit. But the work need to be done because they are there not to serve us. At the same time, now she's talking about she remember she recalled the country that assisted South Sudan. In fact, there were about 33 or 34 countries. Whom they promised to assist South Sudan, whether they will split or they will unite as United Sudan, But what happened? Our leaders, including Nyandeng, Nyandeng, they are the one who are guilty. They have made a mistake. They refused to invest the money. Even now, she remember, let Dr. Yongarang. I don't think that she understood what Dr. Yongarang meant, to her, If she was really a good politician when she was in the government, when she was the minister of road and bridges, she would have used the money, to build a road, to invest into institution, particularly the food production. It would have succeeded and would have seized South Sudan and even prevented us from going to war. So what she was saying is just, to me, it's just politics. Because our leaders, they lack what need to be done. Also, I want to make here a criticism against the government. The hire of the accused, that hiring, that return of that gentleman is wrong. The international community will never trust us, because how can you gonna trust a country where there's no accountability? When a guy was accused of corruption, even though he did not took it pocket money, but administratively is responsible. When you are in charge and mistake is made, you will be all accountable. And in advanced countries or nations that understand morality, you cannot return back to the public service, because the service belongs to the public. It would have been banned at least for the next 20 or 30 years before it returned back to the public service. So our government now we support, even though I still support that Australia, but this government here is wrong. What they are doing here is wrong. You cannot return accused, corrupted official back to the government. There are so many thousands of South Sudanese who can hold position. We need ideas, because without ideas, there's no good South Sudan. It said that, for the superpowers to stay in power, they have to enlighten themselves using education. Because through education, you will modernize society, you will educate them, and then their ideas, those, stone ages or derogatories will be remain behind, and they will use a best knowledge that whether it could be scientific, could be educational, could be professional, could be technological, success. And these are what our country are looking for. So Sudan. About the flooding she's talking about, global warming doesn't affect us. Point period, it doesn't affect us, because we have no companies, we have no factories, that we can pollute the environment. What we have in South Sudan here, and Madida, I just want to make a recollection. In 2012, I went to South Sudan with some Jewish American. We done a survey regarding the lake and the rivers, because our rivers, the tributaries have been blocked. So, and now every year we have this rain, and because the rain, there's no space where the water could can maintain the water. And the government of South Sudan, what of the state of the national, they need to invest into to make sure that those lakes and rivers are accommodated. We have to make a man-made canals. Without that, there's no way we can complain about the global warming. At the same time, international community is not going to help us, because they understood that we have been assisted, but our leaders, they become the thieves. Why the leaders have the houses in Uganda and Kenya? Kenya, Uganda, Sudan, Ethiopia, and our country. South Sudan is ours. They're supposed to return the children back to South Sudan, and the money they get paid from the public, that can be used to support our economy. So if it happens, yes, our country can redirect itself into a better place. And without that, I don't think that we're going to have a good government for the time being. She talked about in the members of parliament. These parliamentarians now who've been appointed, they have no idea what they're doing. I think maybe at least 20% of them are good. They understand what they're going to do, but the rest, they are not just there because of the position. They're not going to do nothing. So the solution here, my brother Medit, and those who are panelists and the audience listening here, unity of South Sudan will be the best option. And I've been supporting September 12, 2018. The reason why I support it, because we have to support an African peace, African that is pure and African free from and imperialist or Eastern or Western bloc. If we can support this peace, even though there is a discrepancy, there's a lot of doubt, but in the end, it will end these messes. It will take us to the election and will prevent this transition government. If we go to the election, we will elect our governors. The governors will write the constitution of the own state because we're gonna have legislative, assembly and the national government. That's where we're gonna have a good system of government, and from there, gradually, South Sudan can reposition itself into the global era, and where we can be respected. But other than that, her speech was very excellent, but it does not owe anything because they are not. She's not honest.
So, what grade are you gonna give to her?
Well, when it comes to the speech, she has spoken good. I can say that she has, maybe like C plus.
Okay.
She has C plus, but her talking is just a talk to talk. But in reality, there's nothing gonna happen. The solution to South Sudanese is the only election. If the election happen, we replace this present government, and what I mean replace the government. I don't mean that SPLM party leadership will be removed. It is going to be impossible to remove Salva Kiir in the first round, but we can remove the governors. That's where President Salva Kiir, what is called decree, will be removed once and for all. There will be no more decree whatsoever. If we can remove the decree, the members of the parliament will be elected from the state, and those who are going to the national parliament. So those who are elected based by the people, they will be able to introduce a good system, and that will set Unubin into the right direction. What are we going to do? We will be able to introduce Ganun to the Gabalia, a law against the tribe, because if you introduce Ganun to the Gabalia, you will eradicate any Zul Gabali, and you will open a prison to lock them up and use them as a property for the state. That will build South Sudan for the betterment. So yes, my brother, that's what I can say. And
thank you,
also,
brother.
To iterate, what happened earlier, brother Edward and his guys, they are not honest. Guy, you cannot want change, and then you are calling for separation. Separation from where? South Sudan has no borders. We did not even withdraw our borders, so we cannot have anyone that calling for separation. Even Jesus Christ returned. يصير المسيح زي الرجع ما في جنوبي بتفصل بجنوبنا. So this is as called the red line. Is the red line? It's not going to happen. But unity of South Sudanese, it is what we are looking for. We must unite together as the people of South Sudan. We have to support the election, because even Salva Kiir election is a solution, because otherwise they will be recycling through in transition government. Election.
Okay, go give it to somebody else, man. Come on. Let's
election. Yeah, give me a chance, my brother. Election will set us forward, and that will bring Madid, will bring a good, will bring Dinga, will bring Kenya, will bring those who understand what does the world mean. So with this, my brother, I want to say thank you for giving this opportunity, and I will give chance to my other brothers and sisters to contribute.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, brother Watt. And let me welcome our newcomers. Got Watt Nial. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Simon Aboy, welcome to Let's Stay Media. And for those of you, I think, let me give a chance to those people who didn't speak. Let me give Quadnial a chance to speak. And Simon Aboy, and then I will come back to you, Ding Dinga, to finish your thought and the rest. Go ahead, so that was your chance. What do you think about it? Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much. I'm following in Lusaka. I'm in Lusaka right now.
Madid, I don't think Paul has spoken. Madid?
Paul is spoken.
Madid?
Yes. No, we start early with Paul. Paul is already spoke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I miss. Okay.
Paul and I was the one who started the show.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Sarkwadnya.
Okay, thanks so much for this program. Actually, I'm in Lusaka now, following this program. I just I came late as I followed the speech of the Vice President and how our elder brother talked just some minute ago about the unity and the rest of the things in South Sudan. In some point, I can say I agree sometime, but some other things, you don't need to say that I agree immediately. Like, for example, the issue of saying that we should do something which can be ahead for the South Sudan, the progress for South Sudan. Yeah, it's good to have progress of South Sudan, but who is doing that? Personally, as myself, I can say, everything starts from within. Like what she said, Nyandeng, the speed. Our brother say he give like C+ or whatever. That's true. First of all, being a woman going to the United Nations to talk is not an easy issue. Although she was having some mistakes, some what other things, but the only thing that she presents South Sudan is one of the important job or important work that she did. So what I just appreciate her that she has delivered some tension, because that is one of the tension that we all of us we understand what is happening in South Sudan. If you don't express yourself, who will express what you are going through? Nobody will know what is happening. So she has delivered all things that like the concern for ABA, no one can express. So she has the right to express that one, I'm sure. So in other speed, I didn't follow well because I just enter and then she was almost finishing. But in all, I can say if we have an issues, no one will come outside to intervene to solve our problem. Like what he said, I agree that if we leave our things for the Western world, so what are we doing? I can have an interest myself to come. I can make sure by all means something happen in the house. Let us take example. If I have an interest in your house, if I have interest in your house, I'll make sure that to get that interest that I need, I have to create some of the chaos or some other thing. I can support this side and support the other side, so that by the time that you are confusing yourself, I also intervene, get some of my portion. I get something within that confusion. But I present myself as maybe coming for the intention of saying that no, we have to do this. This is the only solution. The only solution. That's not the facts. The only thing that's can we go back to our roots? Can we listen and go back to look at our history? Why did we reach up to this time? And why did all things are happening? What is the cause of all those things? You talk about tribalism. True. But tribalism, if even myself, I used to ask myself, if you talk about tribalism, who are doing the tribalism is you and I. If myself has said, you are my brother, and you respond, I'm your brother. So tomorrow and next tomorrow, you go back to where you come from, I go back to where I come from. I preach the same gospel. If I use the Christian words, with the use of gospel. So I can preach the same gospel to where I come from, that the other people, they are our brothers and sisters, and you use the same gospel, you go to that side, that they are our brothers and sisters, the other side. So that things will make us to continue that unity as you was talking about. But unity began at home, even peace, you reconcile to yourself alone. If you don't start for yourself, so who will come and start for you? I don't think so, that the Western world will come and bring peace in South Sudan. That is just a dream. That is just a dream. That's all my perspective. Because how many times did they say that we send peacekeepers and other things, but is it really that peacekeepers? Is it true? Some of the question, each person should answer by own understanding. But in my own way, I say that peace began at home. Why can we sit down we have
True.
enough intelligence to sit down and see what's happening exactly. Is it the issue of tribalism really? Is it true that it is the issue of tribalism? I'm doubting. So can we come back and sit down and see and create something we can make us to go ahead as South Sudanese?
Thank you, Brother Karpanial. There's a question that I had everybody before I move to the next speaker. Some of the South Sudanese are complaining that the delegate that was by President Mama Nyandeng are all Dinka. So they see that. So what is your input about that?
May you repeat the question, please?
The question is about some of our South Sudanese that are complaining, that saying that the delegates that come with the Vice President Mama Nyandeng, they're all Dinka. They're saying that why there's no other tribe in South Sudan in that delegate.
Okay, so may I intervene a bit? In that case, you know, we used to say something with impossible possibility for the human being. You know, being, let us take an example, that if myself am a president today, and tomorrow I appointed my son to become to succeed me, or to maybe to be my bodyguard. So in other sense, what do I mean? Do I put it my son in that case because that is my son, or I put it because he's capable to do that? So I don't see any problem being Nyandeng going with other Denka, going there. Now, if I put the word Denka because Nyandeng is going there to present, so when they reach there, they are not, the other African Union, they are not seeing, other United Nations, they're not seeing Denka only, but they're seeing South Sudanese. I'm sure no one there will be pointed, you're from maybe this side, you are from this side, you're from this side, you're from this side. Nothing, they'll just see you are all South Sudanese. And the message will be coming back to us as South Sudanese.
Thank you. That's a very good. Thank you for your answer, Brother Simon Nabui. It's your turn. I see that you have an issue with your network. Let me give this chance back to you. So, what do you think about the speech that by President Mama Nyandeng gave to the UN?
Yeah, thank you, Brother Madid. I think my voice is clear, right?
Yeah, your voice is clear. But you froze.
Okay, thank you. It froze?
Yeah, but yes, but we can hear you fine. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah.
Based on the speech, there are some of the things that I want just to clear. There are about 3 or 4 points that I will talk about. One, Rebecca talk about the peace in South Sudan. I don't know which peace is she talking about, and the revitalized peace agreement collapsed on the 12th of September. That peace already dead. So which peace is she talking about? You know, that's one point. The peace is gone, and she's talking about the peace. Number 2, she talked about the result of national dialogue. The national dialogue result was already rejected by the President Kiir, and based on what those of Abraham Awoli said, the paper was already thrown away. So what national dialogue is she talking about? The national dialogue said that President Kiir and Riek Machar must go, and she
Comrade Boy, I think your network is having issues. Can you fix your network? Yeah. Your network is bad. You are pros and
that we have limited resources. Okay. We have billions of dollars that they are getting from the oil revenue, but they're using it on wrong things. You can see what is happening today in South Sudan. There are people that are stealing billions of dollars, and you're complaining about there's no resources. Why don't you use that money and implement with the peace and then ask for more from the international community? You cannot ask for help and you don't put what you have in. Now, a lot of money are stolen by them. All of them, they are stealing the money and they are complaining that we have limited resources. They have billions of dollars. That is enough for them even to implement all the peace without getting any support from outside. But you're asking for somebody to give you the resources. And even if you are given the resources, you don't use it. You will go and distribute the resource among yourself. And you say, we don't have the resources.
Simon, can you hear me? Okay. While Simon is having issues with
Are
his
you going to make that peace work when you cannot use your own
Simon,
resources to
Simon,
begin
can you
to
hear
then
me?
ask for more?
Simon.
President Kiir pulled out from the Rome peace talk. Now you say we are making progress on the peace. How do you make a progress and you're pulling out from peace with the other oppositions that you don't want to dialogue with them? What peace actually are they talking about here? So to me, what Nyandeng is saying doesn't make any sense. She just tried to fool people around or try to lie to the international community, and she's not actually telling the truth to the international community. She has to be realistic to tell the truth about what's happening in South Sudan. Other thing, she says she come with the spirit of John Garang. I don't think she have that spirit. She should not lie to herself. She don't even have that spirit herself. She lied last time in the interview, saying that the Lost Boys or the Red Army were following the army because of the food. And that question, I'm still going to wait for her because I heard that she's coming to Phoenix at the answer. Because she herself, she lying too much. She's not realistic. And even I don't know in which part of the world that we have 5 vice presidents. She need all those answers. She's happy to be a vice president without doing anything. She was a minister of road, and the road was not even built. She consumed all the money constructing the beer company. The first beer company in South Sudan was built by Nyandeng. Instead of building schools and constructing some of the positive things, you are bringing something to destroy the public. Those are some of the things Nyandeng need to answer for us, you know. So those are some of the things when I look at the speech, it doesn't make any sense for me. She should talk the reality, not just to try to lie, so that people look at this lady really talk eloquent. She say good stuff. I don't see any good. So I will stop here. Thank you.
Yeah, Simon, can you hear me? Simon, can you hear me? Okay, Simon, I have a question to answer before I give the chance to other. Okay, Simon cannot hear me. Let me move on. Okay, all right, Dinga, I will give you this chance back to you. Dinga, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, but maybe
okay,
you
go
don't
ahead. Yeah, I give this chance to you. Simon Abui, can you hear me?
Simon Abui is muted.
Yeah, but he's muted, but he cannot hear me. He's muted himself. Yeah, go ahead, Dinga.
Okay,
I have a
thank
question
you.
to Simon Abui.
Yeah, thank you, brother. The first thing I will answer is your question, but I think today is my maybe my lucky day to speak. I'll speak for maybe 5 minutes. But to answer your question about the people who ask that people who want to unite nation are dinkers, I will just answer simple. Those people are the same people who are searching for regime change in their language. That's how they talk. It's not because of Dinka being represented in the United Nations, uh, but it's the language of those who love the regime change, and that's how they speak. Uh, why I say I'm lucky to speak today? There are things that people say on on national network, which is like Facebook, or people who want a regime change that are lies that they always preach to the world. The one thing is from the previous speaker, and that's what all people on Facebook who want regime change, RCM, all of that, that's what they preach to the world. That the oil from the oil money, we have money from our oil. Why no roads? Why no water, clean water? And why no hospital? I'll give you mathematics. Majority of you here went to school. Just each of you give me the number, a digit of the money that we get from the oil as a nation, as a country, and I'll break it down for you. Because if you don't know the government, what is the government? It's an institution with thousands of institutions within. The oil we got, the money oil we got from South Sudan is not even enough for the government itself before they reach to those who are civil service, state, others.
Then Tinga, you froze.
You good?
Brother Madit, while we are waiting for Dinga, then Dinga, I'm about to go. I guess if I can put in a little bit of my 2 cents, and then I'll go. Well, two things. Like I said before, I personally, individually, has a person who is looking this in term of person in the middle as a media, where I'm not going to be. Sometimes we have to do critique, and that's what we do to educate the public. I have already said why I gave Mama Nyandeng C. I guess the person close to me was a good as well. She a good at least give it C plus. Um, let me make a comment about this thing that it's not the topic, but become a talking point, which is the delegation that has came to UN General Assembly as all dingas. Um, in reality, I don't think it matters who came. Uh, the only thing matters if someone say they have no idea what they're doing. They failed the vice president to advise on her, or they fail what they're supposed to do. Maybe that will make sense. Because the reason I say that we need to take this whole thing out that, um, this happened because these people are from this group or from this tribe. Because after all, tribe and other things are not going to go away. But sometimes we need to think on how things are done. Are they done on individual capacity, or are they done because they belong to certain group? If we take that into consideration and say, well, probably this is the whole reason why the vice president failed to deliver or to come to an expectation, because the delegate that has come with her, they don't have a capacity to do their job. That will make sense. But going after because they are English, it doesn't. It doesn't add anything to it. It doesn't point out to the solution. It doesn't get to the bottom of the problem. But if we said where they fell short, yes, that would be absolutely a credible criticism rather than just pointing at their Dinka, their Nuer, their Chuluk, their no. Uh, I think I don't know why is it become a talking point. After all, it doesn't amount to any solution at all. Um, so that's how I look at that situation where I don't know, some people are making it as a hard topic, but a hard topic should be now what have the Vice President uh, Mama Rebecca Nyandeng have delivered. If she delivered, we have to say what, which and what. If she failed, we have to find out where she fell. These are common sense criticism. But going to just the same one thing because of this person from this certain tribe and from this so no, it's not a common criticism. We know there is an issue that we have become a part of our cancer, the tribalism, the corruption. Personally, one of the things that I felt like Mama Rebecca Nyadeng felt short to talk about was also a corruption. And this all this development we are talking about, it come down all the foreign or the friendly countries that are trying to help South Sudan, they are looking for investment. And when it come down where South Sudan, we talk about insecurity and we talk about corruption, these two actually scare out all the investors around the world. No matter what
That's true.
resources you have as a country,
That's
if you
true.
don't have to get together, nobody will invest their money in your country because they know if they invest, they are going to lose because there is corruption. If they invest, they are going to lose because there is a conflict. But if you would have elaborated where those two things are going to end as they are implementing the peace, yes, that will raise an eyebrow for investors and say, well, things are getting better in South Sudan. I'm ready to invest in this and that. So those are the things we should talk about, not about how the group of Dingas have come to DC as a delegate, but what if they were a group of Dingas and they have a capacity and delivered? Would that be a problem? If they were a group of Nuer, Sholo, and they have that capacity and delivered, no, that would be not a problem. As individual, I think uh, those are the things we need to look at. Um, we always are going to disagree whether you don't support the government or you support the government. There is always going to be at least a different viewpoint. But the most important thing too, we have to recognize it. Even if someone is have a different point of view with myself and they have a legitimate criticism, of course I would say yes, you're right. Uh, yes, there is a mistake here, and we should have corrected this way. The same thing, whether you don't like, whether you don't support the government or you support the government or you are somehow in the middle either way, these are the things we need to come into term and do as a country. It's a part of development, a part of developing capacity, a part of developing understanding. So those are the things we need to look at, but not little things that we can go back forth, so forth, and this and that. No, they are not relevant and they are not uh, credible at all. And I think I will stop here
That, yeah.
unless
Thank you, brother Peter Ken, for your analysis. That's a good. You put it well. Ding Ding, I think your network is cut you short, so I will give it you back the microphone. Isaac and Paul and Charles, and then I will give you guys your last word before I close up the show. So go ahead, Pinior. Unmute yourself.
Too long.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make it short because I too long. Based to Peter, I will show him this. There was no SDG in his speech of Mama Nyandeng. Sustainable Development goal, which is the objective of the United Nations Assembly. Mama Nyandeng did not give anything about development of our country from now to 2030, which the world was waiting for us to give. The sensible development goal is a bright topic. It has something to do with peace, have something to do with what you will do before 2030, based on business, globalization, based on development, based on peace in your country. My brother, or anybody who say Mama Nyandeng say is the good thing ever, that's what I was waiting, and that's what the world was waiting. And that's why the world sent the leaders to United Nations, is to tell them what they will do from now to 2030, which is the world have to have a goal of development, a goal of peace, a goal of scientific, a goal of everything. It never happened in that speech. And that will answer those who say they are Dinkas. I'm Dinka, and I'm saying this. I'm from Dinka, but I'm saying this. Uh, our country needs people who can go to United Nations to tell them the truth. Not because you come back to the government and you pretend to be the leader. But that does not take me Deng Dinga, to be a supporter of government. No. To finish with what I was about to say, there are majority of you here who always asking for the money for development. I'll tell you why our country is not developed. It's not because of money, because people are money. People are resources of the government. But if you are supporting a revolution or uprising that will cause another war, and then you are part of the people who destroy this country. The world is devolved because any country who got more people within who pay taxes are the one that devolve, not the one that have a good leader but have no people to pay tax. So I disagree with those who call for oil money to devolve the country. That oil money is equivalent to the money that the people of Kenya and Nairobi just connected in a month in Nairobi town, not the whole country. But why? Because the people are in their country and they are making business, and the government get tax from them. But if you are supporting revolution and people are running away to go to Uganda, Kenya, and other countries, and you are asking for road, clean water, and hospital, and then you need a doctor. And well, you don't know what is development or management or business. So I ask those who are here in this show, it is better we support this government so people can go back. Just like in last 5 months, there's no gun, and people are thinking to go home. But there are people who are calling for uprising so people can go back to war and go back to other countries. Think about it. That's insane. And that's not the one our country is needed. We need peace, not a leader, not a person. You hit Salva Kiir, he's a one person. I always say he can die tonight, tomorrow, other day, or 10 years from now.
What is talking?
I'm talking. I'm talking the truth. For those who hate Salva Kiir and say Salva, if Salva go, then there will be peace in South Sudan. No, There will be no peace. It's better for people like Nyandeng who want back, people like Riek Machar, and all those who are outside to go back to the country and call for peace and tell the world the truth. Like when Mama Nyandeng came to United Nations, I was waiting for her to tell the world how they will go together to unite the nation for next 10, 5 years, or 1 year, or 9 months. That's what we want. I'm talking about peace. I'm talking about no war. I'm talking about those who preach war instead of peace. So I will make it short for you guys. Our country will not be in peace for those who come to this show or other show to preach uprising in the country. Instead of peace, Mama Nyandeng was shot on her speech to tell the world how they can go together as leaders, which is the main topic of today in this show. Which is the main topic in this show. How Mama Nyandeng speak in the United Nations. She fell short because she did not tell the world. She did not promise the world that they will develop this country in next 90 days or 1 year. She did not tell the world how they will.
So let me ask you this question, Brother Dending. Are you blaming or are you criticizing Mama Nyandeng or the government? Because the speech is not Mama Nyandeng written that speech. It's the government of Republic of South Sudan reading it, and they give it to her so that she can represent it to the world state at the UN General Assembly.
Okay, this is the problem in Africa.
That's good.
It was not the government who write her speech to go and speak. Maybe she didn't even show that.
No, government, I'm sure.
Nah, now, even Salva Kiir don't take his speech from the government to go and speak it to other people. Take that. This Africa thing. Maybe you are short of Africa.
Let me
Okay.
say two things to go, man.
I don't think this was put together by the government and give it to her.
What is
Yes, it is true.
No, sorry for interruption.
no, this guy? Look, what is wrong with that?
No, you
David,
you have
what is
right
wrong
to
with you,
question
man?
me. But I
No,
have
it's-
seen this in every speech in United Nations.
Okay, let me wait.
Let's see to just think about president who go there. They have a platform of what have been given to them to talk about, and they will not go and speak their mind on their own way. They will speak on what is in the paper. If you disagree with me, just tell me. Did Nyandeng talk about the paper that was given by the government to go and speak, go and tell to the world? No. Answer is no. For me, it's no.
Okay.
I think Mama Nyandeng, she was told for what she go and represent, but she go and want and do her own speech. The only good thing I take from her is a BA.
Okay.
The only thing I took from her is the plot in my own my own state. But she did not enunciate. She did not tell the world exactly what is going on in Jonglei or other place. She talked
Okay.
about the global thing, which is have nothing to do with us.
Thank you.
Mr.
Okay, thank you, Brother Dending. Dendinka. So let me give this chance back to Isaac. I know you leaving. Let me give you put your last word in it.
Okay. Thank you, Abraham.
So
I'm
before when I give you guys a chance, put your last remark, and then you can, because this is the last, and then go around, and then I will end the show. Yeah, go ahead, Isaac.
yeah. It's better for me to get out because I'm seeing right now is I don't even want to talk about it, but I'm gonna tell you this, Jamana. You know, everybody can think the way they want to think. Okay, that's your choice. But some things that you need to understand, Mama Nyandeng, she didn't wrote a speech. This speech came from the government. She came here to let you know what is going on. Everything she said there is opposite of it. It's not going as according to what is in the paper. This is something you need to understand, right? She don't have nothing. You need to open your heart as a Sudanese. A mother, she went through it, and her husband, he was one of those people that all of us here following. So she's coming here on in Omaha, Nebraska,
Yeah.
on the second. All right. Uh, I'm saying this because they call me and they want me to be one of the people organizer. Okay. So I was listening to all of you guys. Now I took some stuff about this video,
Really?
and if you God give me a chance to be one on one with her, I will speak with her. But I'll be honest to you guys. Uh, she's coming to Nebraska with the whole community. She want all Southern Sudanese community to be there. So if you are close to us, please, you're welcome. You can come and ask your questions because this is the first time. The first time I seen her, she come to the people she want to ask or she want to
Yeah.
talk to them.
So
First
Isaac,
time.
thank you for bringing that one up. So this is
Yeah.
the one of the announcement that I was holding back so I can announce later at the end of the show. I was
Yes.
Lake State Media has been approached. Yesterday we received a message that the vice president is coming to your state. So
Yes.
there's information that we need to put out in our media so that people can see. So
Okay.
it's still again, we are still waiting for that. If you guys forward those information, we can publish to the our page so that people can see. So
Okay.
I'll thank you for
Ma-
bringing that up.
Okay.
Madid,
Yes.
Madid, mute all of us, or those of us who are not speaking. That way, there is
Echo.
majority is
Okay. Yeah.
echoing. There is echoing.
Okay. I will mute. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead, Isaac. Put your last statement.
So my last thing for you guys, and before the last thing, Mama Nyandeng, the way I see in the words, the government need our help, especially the youth. This government, it look like they don't know how to ask for help. They don't want to give you a chance to do it. Me myself, everybody know me here. I'm one of against the government to the foolish because the system is not doing anything. That's the reason Kir must go and react camp. Okay, Gibel, I see you talking about this. You know who I'm talking to. Okay, now I am going back to Mama Nyandeng to help for no reason. I'm not supposed to be there. But I see something different is coming after this because she came to us. She came to bring the community together. If about money, we will know about that day. We will know it. All right. And then if you say about the oil, my brother, the oil, please, man, let's not talking about oil and all that. There's no money in the country. There's no money. That's why she come to ask for help. If you have money, why you gonna come ask for help? It's not gonna work. Okay, let's just be open minor and let's stop the argue. We'll see what we can help in the other side, and maybe she got a mother heart. Maybe she going this time she be like, nope, let me try my help my people before I go back to these people, and then when I go there I know what I can do to move this government by herself. You know, Mama Nyandeng already, the whole board behind you, Mama. So please, let's see and let's show her, hey, this is not how this thing works. We're gonna help you. This is maybe that's what she's looking for. After all these years, she's in between people that can. She don't even speak, my Jamana. When the last time you see Mama Nyandeng, she went visit any camp? When the last time she came and speak in the public? She never do that. This is she been pushed to come here to help to ask for help. Right? So let's see if we are already coming in one table. Let's change our government. Let's change our system. Nobody against Kir. We against the system is going in the country. This is what we're going through. If we can change our system, maybe this is the time for it. Maybe the time for us to see. But I heard everything you guys say, and I'll try. I'll try my best to take it forward. And Kir and React must go. Red Card movement, my brother, they're not violent, but they're not gonna be silent. This is our rules. So thank you, my people. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Isaac. Have a good one. So you can.
I have a
go
question
and
for Isaac. I have a question for Isaac.
Let me welcome. Brother Kadit Thon. Welcome, ladies. We're glad that you make it. We'll give you a chance after this. Other speakers put in their thought. Paul, I will give you last word to put it in, and then the next is Charles. Unmute yourself, Paul.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead. 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Madid. I think I maybe have a different opinion on this thing. The thing is that it's good to criticize somebody. There is nothing wrong with that. That's where the leader reform themselves. But when you come to the point of Nyandeng, I don't see any criticism what she does, because to me, that speech was been read to her. It was been read to her but given for her to practice what she's going to say. It's not her own word. It is the government, whoever official that with her, they are the one who come up with that speech. So we could not blame her why she did not talk about this, why she did not talk about that. That is not her fault. That is the government or the official who are accompanying her. Because any leader, he could not come up with any speech is going to talk about. If somebody have, some group of people have to sit down and come up with a speech and read it and let that president or vice president, whoever, let it practice what is going to be talking about. So that one I could say about it. So in terms of what oil thing they are talking about, because when we talk about the oil, even though you produce oil every day, maybe I will agree with God. Why the money of South Sudan, if you say there is no money in South Sudan, where the money, where the South Sudanese they are? Because South Sudanese themselves, they don't like their own country. Other day I watched a video in Kisumu. I think it's somewhere in Western Kenya. There are more than 50,000 South Sudanese that were doing part in Kisumu. There any refugees came in Kisumu? I don't think so. Where they get the money from? And they are so excited, happy, everybody dancing. So where do they get the money? Somebody live in Kisumu, live in big house. So this is the money of South Sudan. You go to Uganda, the same thing. You come to Kenya, the same thing. It doesn't matter. Nyandeng can produce millions of barrels of oil a day. It's not going to stay in South Sudan. That money will come to East Africa. So this is the problem. And also I'm agree with the other guy who said you cannot make investment. Investment cannot go where there's a war. So you cannot invest where somebody is going to shoot your truck with the RPG. You cannot do that. They cannot go because they are scared. You do investment where there is free movement. You don't scare of anything, except maybe only snake. So the investment is not going to be. So what they should do, she should talk about the peace in the country. But with her speech, I believe she talked good. I will give her B+, because she did well. Even a man cannot speak like that too, because speaking among people sometimes you get nervous. But she did what she could do. But the speech is not the one who wrote it. It is the government. If somebody disagree with her, so it is the official that should be blamed. Why they have to let what they supposed to be talking about. But all could not talk all about everything in South Sudan because she don't have time. There is no time for her to talk from A to Z. There's no, that is, you don't belong to South Sudan. You're going there for 24-hour talk about the issue of South Sudan. That is, don't mislead. So this, we have to keep a time, So she did what he's supposed to do. So coming to this, the delegation is a Denga. This is completely wrong. Hatred is not good. It don't take us anywhere. So how could you know the color of Denga, you know color of Anywa? How could you tell what the color of Denga and what the color of Anywa? You know, people are sitting there, they don't see.
We have the same skin.
You know, you don't see that this is a Denga, this is that, because there is no any color. You know, this is
true.
This is not right. You know, hatred, it don't take us anywhere. Let me talk real politics. You know, yes, I'm not a supporter of Kir. I'm not. I suffer a lot, but Kir did not do anything to me or to any of my people there. No school, no road, no anything. But I don't agree with his policy completely. You know, I don't agree with his policy. But when we come to talk about this thing or this or Denga, but the president, it doesn't matter. Lopit, whoever, go all, let them go. They are presenting South Sudanese. Why we have to talk about, oh, this is not Kir culture, this is Sulu culture. What is the South Sudanese culture? This negativity, this is not a politics. That's why the opposition in South Sudan cannot win anything. That's why they cannot win any battle, they cannot win any election. They're all going to fail. You know, because negativity always take you backward. You know, this should not be a thing that they should discuss. They should challenge her according what her weakness, what the government weakness is. That's what they should talk about. Yes, people are suffering. Where the money? Why you keep millions of South Sudanese official children in Nairobi driving BMW, and people are disturbing the country? That way, maybe the opposition should be made loudly on this kind of thing. Why they don't bring these people back? Leave people in the refugees camp. So these are the things that they should do. Hatred, if we want a country, let we forget about hatred. Let we talk a real politics. You know, if Madid, what he's doing is not right, I will challenge him where his weakness is. You know, if he's doing like he said, because for only Agok, I have to challenge this for short that is not for Agok. You know? So this is supposed to be, as that is, I could say, Madid. To me, I give her B+.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brother Paul. I always like you the way that you talk. This is the communication talk that we need among ourselves, because united ourselves and let us talk, not single one tribal. We all South Sudanese. That's a good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I will go to my Charlie Spoon. Are you there? So Charlie, are you there? Put your camera on and give you 1 to 2 minutes to put your last statement in. Unmute yourself, Charles.
Madina, why don't you give a chance to Dr. Gadet, first?
Yeah, I will give him after the Charles. So okay. Charles.
You can give him a chance. I will come after.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Brother Kaditon, come on up.
Salam Itana.
Alaikum salam.
First of all, let me acknowledge to say thanks to our gods who live upstairs for this beautiful day. And second of all, let me appreciate the Lagos State media, because the Lagos State media, let me put it this way. All South Sudanese, we need to listen to this. The Lagos State media has been keeping the moral and the political moral value to all of us as South Sudanese. The Lagos State media, they still keeping the spirits of all South Sudanese as a brotherhood. So thank you so much, Lagos State media, my brother Madit, my brother Kenyi, and the rest of the people. We need to bless you guys while you guys stay alive, because we are watching you. It doesn't mean if I did not come personally to your show every day. No, I do watch you sometime and always. So let's give thanks to the Lagos State media, and also let's give thanks to our mother, Mama Lagos State media. I do remember when she spoke very well, and I still remember her words, and I keep those words in my heart and my mind. I still remember them. And I do believe that's the reason why the Lagos State media is keep going, because there's strong woman or strong mama behind of you guys. So that's a great thank you. The reason is what I'm saying. I born naturally radical. I'm not sugarcoating to anybody, not at all. But when you are doing well, I will tell you in front of you, you are doing very well, and I'm watching you, and God is blessing you. Now, let me come to our topic, my brothers. Thank you so much, Lagos State, again. Thank you for all people who spoke before me for the great contribution we have put. Now, today, we are talking about nation problems and our nation solution. Let me come to a speech of Vice President of Mama Nyandeng. To me personally, in my evaluations, the speech is very highly intelligent as presented, very well articulated, well spoken. I give her the A+. Now the question is here, where I'm going to analyze, because the presentation, as I put it, is very well constructed. You don't have to look at the language. You do not have to look at the communication of a person. You don't have to look at the person as a human, but you have to look inside, what is inside the words. The word official, the beautifuls, the word representing all of us as South Sudanese. But now let's come as a South Sudanese to analyze, to have some analogy into it. The criteria, the lecture has been given in the United Nations. It's representing all of us, or they put them, those words in the practical. This is the thing we have to look at it. Now, here's my issue here. The Vice President, she don't have no any problem. She representing us. And the speech writer, as those speakers has been spoken before me, the speech writer, she put that speech, or he put that speech to our Vice President to come and read to all of us. Now, do we are following those instructions she represented the United Nations? No. My brother here, my speech will be very short. Our regime, our country are representing by the small group are representing the name of Nuer and Denka, in which they try to keep themselves into the power. Today, they are saying the problem between Nuer and Denka. Let me break the ice to all of you, if everyone is scared to say this. People, they stay in their power. Let me repeat myself. They stay in their power, the fact that Denka and Nuer are dominant in the Republic of South Sudan. Yes, that's a factual. Militarily, administratively, educational, everywhere. We become so dominant. Therefore, the problem has been rising in South Sudan. Therefore, people have been talking, Denka, they are dominated these people, Denka, they are doing this, Nuer, they are doing this. And those, all of us in the media, if we keep the same message, we are supporting them we are supporting them to stay in the power. The problem here in South Sudan, or the problem we are facing, it is a regime corruption, because Mama Nyandeng, she didn't talk about the corruption. And I wish she will come to state where am I. I know her since 1985, nothing personal, and I will never attack her personally. But yes, I do have a problem with the philosophy they are representing in the Republic of South Sudan, because representing you and representing I, but negatively. You don't have to come to United Nations representing us professionally in the grounds, in our own lands. It's not the thing existing. Those are the fiction. My problem here is here. Let me break it down. My problem is here. That's in the philosophy of the corruption. They did not even mention that 75 corruptees, the money had been put into the Eastern Bank, in which is Switzerland Bank, until this time of 2021, the money is still there. Why these people, they don't want to bring the money back to the country in order to build the nation? Secondly, our entire nation now is in the term of the spirits of Marines. We have floods. People are cooking inside the water. We all saw the picture. You can go to Bor, you can go to Nasser, you can go to Lagos State, anywhere, every corner of South Sudan, there is floods. No one have initiative to talk about it. Second to that, she say we need help. And she say our nation is very rich. If your nation is very rich, why are you looking for help? Yes, our nation is very rich. Do we are taking care of those things? Our nation is very rich. Yes, I agree with you, Mama Nyandeng. our nation is very rich. Do we are taking care of the richness of our nation? We have a gold, we have diamond, we have anything. I can't mention them. We have a titanium in Lagos State. We have uranium. We have what's so called the Great Triangle of Upper Nile from Bentiu all the way to Bor. They call it the Great Triangle of Upper Nile. All of it is great, full of oil. Scientifically, if you don't have it, my brothers, I can give you the reference. Go to the books of Johnson Douglas. You will get that one. The Great Triangles of Upper Nile, full of oils. The most important oil in the world, better than Middle East. And if we open that area, the oil of Middle East will drop into South Sudan. That's the reason why they don't want us to have a peace. You go to Lagos State, uranium, titanium, you name them. You go to a northern part. My brothers, what we are facing today, in which our mama Nyandeng, she have to face it, we are facing the lack of leadership. Leadership, that's what killing us in South Sudan. Let's do not involve ourselves. Let be example of the Lagos State media, because they're gathering every information and they are asking the right question to all South Sudanese. That's the unification of South Sudan we have, my brothers. So I'm happy today for Lagos State media to have the very fundamental question and to deep into the problem of all of us. If we all of us have the same spirit to analyze the thing the way our brothers are educating us, South Sudan will live peacefully. Yes, South Sudan, there's no leader, my brother. That's the reason why we are suffering. South Sudanese people, they're very great people. South Sudanese are very intelligent, hard worker, good heart, everything you can name them. There's nothing missing among us, but only thing is missing leadership. When we get off from these things, the mentality of craziness, we'll be fine. My lastly, to Mama Nyandeng, she brought the name of Dr. John Garang Mabior. Dr. John Garang Mabior is a legend of all of us South Sudanese. He left the legacy to all of us, and his legacy is still written among us. Now, here's my question. If she know Dr. John Garang Mabior, his vision should live longer on and on, why you have to make the school as a private? Because we know Dr. John Garang Mabior is the hero of that land. Why you have to make the school of Dr. John Garang Mabior to be a private school, not giving the chance to other children to go to school? Only those who have the money. I have problem with Mama Nyandeng in that issue. And I do believe tomorrow if I find her, I will tell them that is wrong. Because if you believe, and we all believe Dr. John Garang Mabior is a hero for all of us, the school should be public school. Joy Washington, there's nothing private about Joy Washington. That's a living legacy. And we must tell the truth as South Sudanese here, my brother. So let me stop for a minute, and I give chance to our Austin. And thank you so much. This is my contribution, my brother.
Thank you so much, brother. Very appreciate it. That's what I really thank you for the wonderful word that you put in. And that's what we do here in Lagos State, because we are also Sudanese. Let's come together. Let us interact. So it's good. So, and that's what we want. Let me give back a microphone to Charles Tahili. I will give you 1 minute, 2 minutes, so that you can put your last remark.
Thank you, Comrade Madit, and again your guest and Comrade Gadet. Of course, he rated Nyandeng to be A+, but there's no any mark A+ in this world, you know. But with his subtraction, command criticism, the A+ is no longer working. So maybe it is now B+, I don't know. What will be your mark, Gadet? Since you criticize and all this has to be subtracted, okay? Anyway, that's not my rating.
Ambassador, time out, Ambassador. I'm not criticizing her. No, her speech is very essential, and we know it for sure. Her speech well representing to all of us.
Yes.
Practically, I'm not criticizing her. I'm criticizing our government, because our government is the one who wrote the letter. The letter, let's be honest here, professional, well articulated. But the question we all of us has ourselves: do we doing those things in our nations? Do we are taking care whatever they're representing us in Washington and in New York? Do they still doing it in our nation? So that's what I'm saying, Ambassador. So thank you. I didn't even know you were there, man. Screen that better sahaya that. Shukran.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
he
thank
put
you.
his camera off. That's why.
I think what is very important is that you guys. I think for me, I read I said maybe if I give a good ranking, maybe D. For the speech. But of course, they come on ajere muno. This is ajere denka. Jacob, when did you become an opposition? Eh? You are not opposing your own government. That's good. But the thing is, Dinka is this paper was written by the government. It's not about Nyandeng. It's written by the government, and they agreed what she's going to say and what to present at the United Nations. So don't blame that it is Nyandeng writing. It's the government policy to be presented at the United Nations. What we are saying here is that I just want to have some remark here which I did not talk about. They talk about that the July 9th, the 10th anniversary, it talks about that they fought about, marginalization and oppression. Are we equally represented in South Sudan? Itagile is not there, Kres is not there, other tribes are not there, people are in the POC, the IO, Ketigwang are out, So South Sudan is in a country still in oppressive system. It's still marginalizing the people. It's still dividing the people. They introduce nepotism. They introduce this policy of divide and rule. So our country is not yet, even getting the fruit of our liberation struggle. So that make our speech even F. They say there's inclusive government. There's no any inclusive government. Dr. Ek is staying in Juba like a picture. In other opposition are there just aligned to Salva Kiir. They all subjected themselves to Salva Kiir. They surrendered to Salva Kiir. They are no longer championing the aspiration of the people of South Sudan, or the people who fought, or the people who suffered during the Salva Kiir regime, or maybe after the war. So there's no any inclusive government there. We are still talking about the National Salvation Front, the South Sudan Unified, United Front and Army, those and others. Are they part of the government? Are they part of the access? No. So the country is still in division. It's not an inclusive. The national dialogue. She talk about the national dialogue. The national dialogue was good. The resolution were to remove Dr. Riek and Salva Kiir. Did Salva Kiir make a decree to remove himself? No. Is there any, the cattle camps, are they removed from Equatoria? No. The cattle are still roaming around Equatorial land. They're still killing people. So the national dialogue resolutions are not even effective. It is just like a policy that has been put here under the carpet. So the speech is just to appease the international community and say that the national dialogue proposal has been implemented by the government. Zero implementation. Public financial system management. They say they put public management system. Where? Corruption. Jinkur, 650 million. Yeah, one company, 650 million. This corrupt JC government is the worst government ever the people of South Sudan should have in a country. And we all of us must stand against it. Corruption over corruption. Men do fadia. They fight this corruption today, they introduce another one. The people of South Sudan say, don't do this, they bring another one. Salva Kiir has failed, and even because the good news is that when you present at the United Nations, there's no questions, there's no comment, there's no commentary, right? No analysis. You just talk and then they record it, they file your paper, and that's you go. It's not their problem, actually. They know what is wrong. South Sudan has the poor financial system. The money are kept in the houses. The money is not kept in the central bank. The loans that has been given to South Sudanese government is restored in Salva Kiir house either, or maybe in some houses, maybe in the military, and then distributed at night. So this is a poor financial system ever we have in a country. And it is very, very shameful that you know, for us to say that by the vice president that, you know, well, there is a financial system in our country. You don't have any transaction, no computerized system of paying people. Soldiers are going without paid, organized forces, civil servants are not paid. What type of financial system we have? What the oil resources that you are getting, the oil that you are getting, is all, its money are corrupted. Our soldiers are suffering on the street. Hospitals are not there, no medications. Schools are empty. Roads are just like a crack of a air cliff in the mountains. That's a poor system of financial management. Constitution making. The constitution making is not going anywhere. They just make a workshop, and then
Charles, can you wrap it up? Don't answer everything. Just put your general statement. So if
and then I'm concluding.
Yeah.
She talked about the chapter 5 about accountability and justice. This is why Vice President Nyandeng is lying like this. Have you ever, all of you who are here watching or listening or talking now, have you ever listened that they touch chapter 5 of the RCS? No. Did you hear that the court has been established or the judges have been appointed for the establishment of the hybrid court? No. Are there anybody who have been arrested for the killing of the Nuer in December 2013? No. Even now, she's not even shameful of the security that the peace is there. The people in Tambora, in Western Equatoria, has been displaced in a time of peace. Killed. Over 300 people now killed. Just for no reason. Just because of their resources. So, chapter 5, nobody, I have not heard. Neither SSBC talk about that or the government now is talking. But the question is, should be asked to Rebecca, why are you jumping the chapters? Why are you not talking about chapter 2, the security arrangement? It's not complete. She says it's empty. The chapter 3 about the land commission, the IBCs, it's not been established. The land resolutions are not been given to the South Sudanese people. The land disputed areas in Malakal and other areas in South Sudan, in Wau, in Equatoria, nobody has talked about that. That's why, you know, that speech is just a disaster. It's a pain in Al-Kawaja Gali Wende. You know, it is very painful.
So,
but I give her one credit. The one credit I give her, she was presentable. She dressed in African way. That's a good credit. In a South Sudanese way, that's a credit for her. That one for Libisa, I give her an A. Lakin for the speech, F.
Good, thank you, Charles. You know, Charles, you one of the future leader of South Sudan. One day you become the president of the Republic of South Sudan, or one day you become a governor of Tahili. Okay.
Why?
One day you become ambassador of the United Nations. So the reason why I'm saying this is because when you speak in public, you need to choose your word wisely. And also to don't use the insult word, because those words will wait you on the road in the long run.
No, so I didn't use any profanity. No,
this is the advice I want to give it to you. So be respectful, no abusive word or any other, even though you disagree with Vice President, just use the word that respectful word, not insulting word. So because even though you disagree with the Vice President or even President, you have to respect the office. The office is very respectful because that office, everybody is coming in that office, including you. So I end here. Thank you. Let me go.
No, I didn't insult. Please, you need to correct that.
No. So sometimes we use the word like lie. It's not a good word to use in public.
No, but it's not going in the country.
Not talk.
Yeah, Agod is coming. I'm coming to him. So I just correct that to Charles. So thank you. Agod, put your last statement in. and then
Yeah.
I will move to brother Gatkwada Nyal, and then I
Oh,
will
okay.
end
Well,
up.
brother Medit, I just want to appreciate my brother because for running this show for the now almost 3 hours, it is a credit, that we have to give it to you, my brother. So it is good. Thank
I'm
you.
I'm still stuck in the office. I supposed to be leave like two
Yeah.
hours ago.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
It is good to criticize, and also we have to give credit for those who are doing, what they, because South Sudan was a mess. Me mostly I blame the SPLM party. The SPLM party has failed and to understand the threat we were dealing with. Because if the Harka Shabia could shell Hakuma with some big dole and they're able to invest in agriculture, education, you know, and other, like medicine. So Sudan would have been a better country because we have to save our society. We cannot move anywhere if you're not educating yourself. Number two, by President Nyandeng, it has as a female for the first time in a nation called South Sudan. Is good. We have to say thank you for that. But they need to know that our country cannot go nowhere if they are, keeping the children in foreign countries. The money they are making, our public money. This is our money. They are not their money. We pay them our money, and they are taking our money to the poorer countries, like neighboring countries. Where the family live. It's not good. It's not good. To me, people like that are supposed to go to prison. In our time, when our time comes, we will investigate them. We will lock them up. We will confiscate their houses. We will go deep into their bank. So we need to remind them that the time will come. Also, I want to encourage our fellow citizens. Dr. Gadid, nice to see my brother. We want to encourage our fellow citizens to unite together because unity is going to help us to remove these guys in power. These people here in power, whether Nyandeng, Rais Fakir, Dr. Yang Machar, Wakarin Kulu, they are no longer good. They're good during the liberation struggle. But now the time has expired. Their ideas are not working. Their ideas are expired. So we have to support them so that the peace they have signed, so they can be able to transition it smoothly into the election. And from that election, we will be able to change, state, governors. Like I said earlier, we have to elect our members of parliament, good ones who understand, who are free from, guns for the last, 20 plus years. Now, as PLM party has reached 37 years. We are about 13 years away to become half a century party. Also, we have to encourage those other parties. Like Garang said, it's not only that SPLM that will take South Sudan forward alone. When we become independent or we become a united Sudan, other opposition will have fought as well. They are also part of South Sudan. We need to encourage them to work very hard and put South Sudan in their heart, so we can, so all of us together can build South Sudan for a better future. So, Kaberdeng Ding Ding, I know you criticize her based on what I understand. You have something against her because based on dengue jungle, policy that I've seen for the last few years. So please don't judge her like that. She's good too. I know she made a couple of mistakes. But I don't think that I can blame her alone. I blame the entire Aspiring Party because Aspiring Party failed to understand the mentality of the NFNCP Muslim Brotherhood in Khartoum. Now who is controlling our market? Our market is on the foreign hands. For us to get away from this, we have to invest in ourselves. We have to encourage our young people. It doesn't matter which tribe you came from. I always discourage Gabalia. Gabalia is not good for us. Gabalia will never take us nowhere. We must eradicate Gabalia. We must end Gabalia. We must eradicate sectarianism. What tribalism. What clanism. If we can do this, Wallahi, I'm a target. Dr. Gadet Gabel. South Sudan is full of resources. But in America, Russia, China, all these countries, they're not good for us. Madari Nazata, because there's scarcity of resources. Kulo delo haja. As the Junub America, that there which sin there, Britannia there. So we have to work hard ourselves, and we have to be neutral instead of become relying on China or America or Russia. Let's try to be neutral and work our own out. In support education, young or poor, we have all children has to go to school to educate our people for the next 12 years as a plan, as a project. I'm sure South Sudanese, through the education, we will be able to end our messes and gradually our country can, transition itself somewhere somewhere better. So this is our brother Medit, and then next brother Shukran Jazilan. What you have done here is a credit, because you are at work and you share with us, So the bana shol gubel guzum gutle gubel and nas bikalam an gabila jama gabaliya da damara sulan. You can disagree with hakum ta alfidolo, lakin matansa kul ma dakhل fi gabaliya. That alone is a destruction. Let's try to see example to Cuba. What Cuba has done, small island, very successful, during a time. So South Sudan, with what we have, and if we be able to remove the emotion that we have in our heart, I'm sure we can do much better. So with this, and may God the Creator bless the Republic of South Sudan, and peace be to all. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Well, let me welcome Dualajan. Welcome to Wednesday Media. I will give you the chance to speak because you come at the end that we are wrapping up. Let me give this last. Oh, did he fall out? Okay. And
Yeah.
then, okay, Dualajan, I will give you 3 minutes to put your
Okay.
remark. What do you think
Yeah.
about the speech? I don't know. Did you watch the live video that we put about by President Mama Nyandeng? She gave his speech at the UN Assembly.
No. I didn't. I was busy today a lot, and then I just come out. But I read like a paragraph that was written from one of the drivers that drive her around New York, and that's what I read. Was like a message. I don't know if she put it in her speech. So when she was drive around in the New York City, I think the driver passed by the building, and the building in New York doesn't have a light, and she was surprised, and she was asking the driver that why there is no light in this building, and this is America, and this is New York. So the driver say the building is the embassy of South Sudan, and they laugh inside there.
Okay.
So
yeah, go ahead. So if you didn't watch the video, the speech that she gave during the United Nations, and then I will give you a chance to put your perspective about whenever later on you can watch the show and then you will hear the speech.
Right.
And,
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment because I got you already done. First of all, my name is Dolarjen, leader of the UPSS Union Party of South Sudan. What I know is that this elite, they will never actually create a way in which we are going to unite the country, because they know when we are united is going to be against their opportunity. So that is they try to make it difficult, and people, the youth here don't understand. They try to make it difficult for the unity not to work, and they make it difficult for the peace to come to the country. Because when if there is peace right now in South Sudan, obviously people will be, we have peace, so there should be election. Even the ordinary people, they will be thinking of election. But now, people like Salva Kiir, Riek Machar, and Nyandeng, if there is election, these youth here, you see here, these are leaders. So they're going to take over. They don't want that. So what they do is to make sure that they keep you on war, defection, tribalism, division, and they increase that. And people don't understand this. So the youth, my message is for the youth. We want the youth of South Sudan from Jesh Alamer, okay, that we want to use to begin to organize themselves. And in here, in the world right now, this generation, you cannot organize yourself in tribal line. Nobody will hear you. And even by yourself, you will break out. So, and you cannot just stay like that without being organized. It's impossible to make a change. So what we need is that for us, in order for us to kind of solve this problem that has been created by elite, then we need to organize ourselves, regardless of tribalism. We need to get rid of tribalism. I've been talking about this for a long time, that we have tribalism. Let's not give these people a chance. By us watching them, that they make it difficult for us to to have peace and to stop the war and to have election is because they want to maintain the power. They wanted to be coming to loot the money and take it to a foreign country and leave the country dry. That is what we are seeing now. And eventually, when we have our kid will be poor, and their kid will always be keeping over. And this is called anarchy. For anybody who go to his school, by the way, you go to social school, it's called anarchy. What is going on in our country is where you'll see. Look at Nyandeng. You can see this example. Nyandeng, we have been rallying up with behind our husband for a long time. Now, when the husband died, it is the wife. So people now we are talking about it. Next time we are going to begin talking, or our children will be talking about his son. He's already now they are bringing him up. The same thing to Riek Machar family. So this is called anarchy. And South Sudanese people need to understand. Sometimes they need to understand things from the reality. Okay. So my message to you, all of you, my brother, these people, what they do, they want to make sure that the youth are divided. The country should have a war. They are maintaining the war. You see the war now going on in Western Equatoria, the war going in Malakal, the war going. They will not allow that war to go on in Juba, because if it go on in Juba, their administration is done. So they always want it to be maintained in outside Juba, and then they will tell people, oh, we have insecurity, no peace agreement, no election, no what. Those are the excuses. I was laughing when I read advice from Salva Matok. He was advising this Salva Kiir, and he's from his hometown. So he told him, hey, you know what? Now, since there is a war from Riek Machar camp, that war going on in Kitgwang, we need to pay attention of that. So he's advising Riek Machar and Salva Kiir to extend more the peace agreement, not to implement it because of the war that just happened. So you see, so now every time when there is kind of like peace, they wanted to create war, because they will say, oh, there is no way we can go election and there is no way we can have peace because of the war. So my message to all of you, my brothers, is that first of all, we need to put God first. Last time I give you strategies how to end the tribal war, and no, people not pay attention. Okay, the way to end tribal war is that the youth must be organized by themselves with a clear leadership structure. That is where you will get help. Okay, not on tribal line.
So thank you. I have one question yet to ask you.
Yes.
To answer very quick, 30 seconds, and then I will move on. There are some of the South Sudanese criticized by President Madam Nyandeng that the delegates that come with the Vice President in New York are all Dinka. So you mentioned a little bit about the tribalism. So can you say that? Are you agree? What do you say about that for those people who criticize that? Why the delegates are all Dinka and there are no other tribe that are including to that delegates? So what do you say? Do you have any comment about that?
Yeah, and thank you very much for asking that question. You know, in my book that is coming out soon, I have clearly identified the root cause of South Sudan war is tribalism. And this is not from here, is when I researched about it in Juba, when I was working in Juba for 4 years. So I began studying that the tribalism was transferred from villages, from how we have been structured, from our bloodline, and it was brought to Juba. So the way we organize ourselves in villages, the way we organize our sheep, our village, our tribal line, our family, it is the same way the government of South Sudan is organized in Juba. And I'm not surprised actually to see this, because when I was in Juba, you go to the what we call the executive branch of government in Juba, it's all Dinka. You go, maybe by that time the army, the chief of general staff was a Nuer. So you go to Bill Farm, you'll find all the Nuer. And you go to NGOs like those of UN or what, you find a lot of Equatoria. For you, if you are a Denga, you cannot get job there, because they only recruit their own tribe. So it's not a new. The reason that one happened is because the government of South Sudan is organized on a tribal line. I will say that.
Here is another thing that I want to comment about what you say. Like you are living in the United States, and in the United States, if you go to work, like the one you apply for the job, you put in the application, etc., and you see the population in the United States, 80% on 85% are white people, right?
Yes.
And we have 15% are black. Okay, and 5% are Latino and Asian, like that. And we see most of the job of the government sector are dominated by white people. So if this prevent, that's another perspective. If this prevent, this consider, okay, white people, they control all the jobs, all the government jobs, all private sector jobs. Okay, that's one point. Second point, we know United States, you are living in, we have two political parties, Republican and Democrat. Whenever one of the party, for example, Joe Biden won, he is a president, he's a Democrat. So he's in office, White House. The people that are in his office in White House are all Democrat. That's not Republican. You see? And you go to Senator. So every 2 years, Senator, people go to vote, and the majority will be, right now we have a Democrat majority in House, in White House, in Senator, and in House. So all of this, the reason why I bring these two examples to you, Charlie, and the rest, is because the human being, we don't have control. If the majority, like South Sudan, we have two tribal majority. Nuer is majority, Dinka is a majority. Okay? So if we see most of the Dinka are dominated some of the government position, or we see Nuer are dominated some of the government position, that's because it's not like a tribalism, okay? It's because they are majority. You see what I'm talking about here? That's the example I want to give. My South Sudanese, not you, but all South Sudanese who have that mindset of tribalism. Why don't we see another majority? Most of the time, they can have more people in that position than the minority. You see, and I give those two perspectives, and I will you guys waiting in. Thank you. So I will give you 1 minute to respond that, and then I will give the floor back to Brother Cadet Thorn, and then I will wrap it up. Oh, Dekam is here. I will give you a chance, Dekam, to speak. I will give 1 minute.
I think Madid, first of all, the issue of majority, we wanted to clear this one out, that the Denka in South Sudan are not majority. This is something that we have to be clear. Okay? Even the statistic, the census that has been counted, Denka they are not majority. Actually, if we have to say, since the Nuer has been dying in a big number, they might be majority because a lot of them are dying, and they keep like fighting in most of the country until the government of South Sudan and the Denga group, they were going to get help from another country so that they can overcome the Nuer. So that means in terms of numbers, we can argue, actually I can strongly argue that the Nuer are majority. Despite their death.
10 states, 7 states, Medinga are there, right?
No, the issue of, I know state even here in America, state is political, geographical, it's not working. It cannot tell you how many people live there. Because what happened is that people try to petition a state and say that, okay, we have a state, even if they can be maybe less people. But the state is kind of like, is opportunity to gain benefit from maybe government and having maybe big numbers that will be sent to parliament. It does not tell us, and in any political theory, it does not tell us why people should be many or certain groups are many. What we can take is that is the way actually the real statistic, if we can count a true one, if we have scholars and people who are educated to count our people, regardless of varia, and then we can get the real number. But now, Denka, I will say they're not majority in our country. So let's not blame, because you look at the way how Nuer tribe alone is able to fight the Dinka and is able to fight other tribe and also plus Uganda. So you can see they die and still they resist. That means these people, they might have a big number. We don't know how much, how many number are they? Who counted them? A lot of them right now, we don't know. They claim maybe 100,000 in recruitment, in insurgency and rebellion. Sometimes they die even during William Nyon. Still right now they are dying, but it's still the number is growing. So that means I think the Nuer should be the largest tribe in South Sudan. I will argue that way.
Okay. Thank you.
But now you see that one is right now they are not in position. Well, in the army, when I was in Juba in 2011, they were majority in the army. If majority is explained by how much you get there, maybe. So it's because they were more recruited in the army. So that's why they were more there. Right now, we can explain the reason why there are so many Dinka in foreign mission is because they are recruited there, because most of them right now are the Salva Kiir is fearing, is saying that if we recruited other non-Dinka in foreign country, his government will be overthrown from outside the country.
That is your opinion. That's your opinion, but it's not true. So most of the tribe are there. Thank you, Bolarjan. Brother Kadito, and I will give you this chance before, and I will give after that I will give to Deng Kamis, and then we wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you again, my brothers, the Lagos State Media, over all of you. I'm not going to mention the names in particular, but I will give my last thanks to Lagos State Media for hosting us for long 3 hours. It is very, very great show, and it is very great analogy to all of us to analyze the problem of South Sudan is and the solution. Like I always say, my brothers, if you are not a part of the problem, you are the part of the solution. The what we need. And I hope all of us, we're supposed to be part of the solution, because we understand the nation problem. The nation we are facing today, we are facing the lack of leadership. Leadership, that's what killing our nation. That's in my perceptions, and that is my analogy. Because if we do have a great leadership, we cannot be suffering economically, we cannot be suffering politically, and we cannot be suffering mentally. Because what we are facing nowadays as this generation, it is not the politics. We lose the moral value. The political moral value does not exist there in our nation. The dignity does not exist. Let me come here. Everyone has his different analogy. As Dr. Abdullah put it, I think he's written a lot of Eastern philosophy a lot. We do have a different philosophy. My philosophy here is a leadership. The leadership is the problem in our nation. If we do have a great leadership, we cannot be living outside of this world today. In this only forum, we have more land. We do have more land here. We do have teachers. We do have doctors. We do have lawyers. We do have engineering. We do have architecture. In this only panel, why you are not using your national resource for your nation? Because the leadership has been missing our nation. The reason why we keep crying. How long we're going to keep crying? Give me, help me, help me, help me. Yes, you're going to get help. But let me put this a simple equation. If you live in the United States, or you live in Canada, or you live in Australia, if you go for help for government, yes, government will give you small, $50 or maybe $200 a month because you are not working. But if you are working by yourself, or you're professional for your work, how much do you get? It's different than the person who gets assistance. So if you reverse it, it's the same thing. If you leave your country, you come to United Nations representing us, you say, we need help, we need help. Yes, you're going to get some more help. But for how long you will depend from monetary international funds? For how long? So my brothers, let's take the leadership as a critical point. Our nation, it's not tribalism. It's not about Denka and Nuer. But if you're going to support this problem between Denka and Nuer, you are supporting those people to stay in the power more longer, because you are increasing more fire. And that's what they want. That's the negative language they need. That's the negative language they want to stay for power forever, because you become so idiotic using the word, oh, this problem between Denka and Nuer. We do not have any problem. For example, if you go to Denka land, as a visitor, you will get food. Someone will give you food, someone will give you water. That's our own traditional. To any tribe, you go to Nuer land, the same. You go to Tahili land, the same. You go to Baria, you will get the same. We do not have any problem with that. But the leadership has representing us, those who call themselves the leader, and which I call them the manipulator, professional manipulator politicians. They are not leader. Because when you are a leader, you take care from every aspect of your people. Now, my brothers, let's unite, let's unify. If we are not unified, as all of you have seen now, the division is coming. Greater Equatorial will go, Greater Apnal will leave, and Greater Bargazal will go. That's the nation we're looking for? That's the nation we fought for? No. So let's have a common sense as a Lagos state, as unify us here to discuss our national problem, to discuss our issue. And I do believe we will get the solution. When people communicate, we find the problem. So people, thank you so much, Lagos state again. I will finish my words. Let's have and keep our characters, wisdom, knowledge. If I'm wrong, tell me you are wrong. Do not support me because I'm your cousin or I'm this. No. Overall, and last, the peace agreement has been expired. That's point I'm forgetting. September the 12th, Lagos State Media, if that should be great to brought up again, that topic. The peace agreement has been expired is September the 12th, present year. What kind of peace we still talking now? And we know our government is the one who delaying the peace agreement. More frustration for people because there are no secure arrangement. People are killing left and right. If I'm killing myself with my cousin today, tomorrow you will be next door, like Dr. John Garang said. During we were fighting revolution with Naza Mundukuri. When you fighting this bull, they say, no, I'm fighting this guy because the red bull is not the problem. No, the white bull not the problem. Until you kill the old bulls, then he will come to you. So now, if all your brothers they get die and they killed, Uganda will come take over your land because you don't have no brother, you don't have no cousin. China will come take over your economy. So let's think wisely, let's look beyond. If you have only one human face, you use only one face, you're not going to survive this world. You must have a face of lion, face of eagle, face of human, face of bulls. All these four faces, you must use them in order to survive this world, my brother. Thank you so much, Lagos State, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that's the wonderful your last statement. Let me welcome these two gentlemen just came in. Dan Kamis and Billy Luke. You gentlemen, I will give you guys 3 minutes each because you guys came to the last minute. We've been here 3 hours, almost 3 hours and a half now. So I will give Dan Kamis, I will give you 3 minutes and Billy Luke 3 minutes, and then we call the day. Okay. Dan Kamis, welcome.
All right. Thank you, Brother Madid. I may not take that long. So I just got up work, and it's been long hours. Almost it's going for 4 hours. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 3 hours and 23 minutes. So thank you for participation, all of my brothers who have actually put their opinions, contribution toward our today's discussion. And I believe the discussion is about our representation in the United Nations today. With that video, And actually, Mama Rebecca Nyandeng, as a vice president, I think it's number 4, I believe, or whatever. How they arrange them, we cannot even understand. But I can put it that way. Um, that representation, and they read out the paper. She was actually reading the paper. That speech was written by the the president office, including own vice president. They know what Nyandeng was actually going to represent in the United Nations, and that later that speech is when written according to me, my own understanding. Um, Somebody may take it out of context that Nyandeng was actually giving a very basic speech. That's not her speech. That's a government speech. She did not. I believe the last word that she mentioned, her late husband, Dr. John Garang Mabior. I think that is her own word that she add at the end of the speech. And that speech is representing us as a nation. Nothing wrong with it, whether it's poorly written or it was when written. I would say it's very good. We don't have to look at negative part of our presentation all the time. We are the nation. Whatever went wrong, we have to fix it ourselves. And I'm not going to criticize her for that speech, because she did not represent herself, and she did not read. She was not the one write that speech. Only the thing, what I know so far, the government is working hard to restore stability in the state of the South Sudan. That's what I know. And for the government to achieve that long struggle, we have, all of us, we have to put our hand together to support them. That will be a solution. The other thing that our brothers have been saying, I'm not going to comment, because it's not your problem, and it's not Madid problem. Is my problem, because I came in late. So whatever I cannot comment on it is my own time. It's not somebody else. But I would say one word. Based on my brother, the answer that he gave back to Deng Dinka, we have no problem with Mama Rebecca Nyandeng. As a people of Bor, I can say Bor, because I'm not saying Jonglei, because Jonglei is combined with a lot of tribe. There's a Nuak there, there's a Nuer, and there's Chuluk, and all those are there. We people of Bor particularly, we don't have problem with her. We have problem with what actually hurt us. We have been hurt for a long time. Our suffering is much longer than anybody in the country of South Sudan. Since 1983, when the struggle started, we never have peace in our own home. And that struggle is involved Nyandeng herself. Dr. John Garang was the leader of the struggle. And the 2013 until today date, she's one that involved in that struggle. So when we have actually tried to put some word across about her performance, it does not mean it's our own problem. It's the South Sudanese problem, because she is actually participating in that, and that's where she became a vice president. She was not appointed by the by the president of the republic, and she was not elected from her own home area where she came from. We did not appoint her. She came through that window. So our own suffering sometimes is based on how she performed. So we have to mention her name. But I'm not going to highlight what she have actually been doing well or doing wrong. But what I remember, if we talk about the youth to be put to work, then there's one thing that she did not, she don't really know, and she's representing youth today, the youth and gender, according to their work. They divided their own work. That's how I understand. When she is she is the wife of our late founder of the SPLM, Dr. John Garang Mabior. But when she was given a position of road and construction, what she did for the first time, she brought in the factory of beer. If you can imagine, I'm a grown-up man today. If you start with the beer company to be the first factory in the country, and you are the one that are giving people that doesn't know what is the economy in the country. You started like that. What do you think the youth will do? They will be drunk and fight on the street if they drink beer, of course. So if you started that way, then Nyandeng actually started. Maybe next time I will explain my own position very well. But I know that's her own failure. She start failing on her own backyard. You're supposed to bring a KFC over there because we need food in the country, right? Or you can bring other things that can produce the bread, so the children, the orphan can get some bread. They can people can eat those KFC chicken or whatever it is. So the youth can they will actually gain some weight, and they will be dancing wearing on the street, and they will do a lot of very good things. But if you actually producing beer for them, what do you want? What do you want youth to do? We own some of us have a teenagers. They're living here in the West. What do you see? What they are doing? I have to start from there. That's why I have to answer that part of the statement. There's nothing personal, but it started that way, and I'm glad you're not. I don't drink. Maybe if I go to South Sudan, I may not get drunk. I don't drink.
Okay, thank you, Dengamis. Also, to the committee of soda has been brought to. So with that company, don't let it out. So
Okay.
thank you, Dengamis. Billy, look, if you are there, please put your camera on. I will give you 3 minutes, and then I will call it a day. And then I will give you. I'm not forgetting Deng Ding. I know you want to respond. I will give you a minute or two after Billy Look. Billy Look, welcome to Lagos State Media. Unmute yourself, Billy Look. Okay, I got you. Good.
Okay, am I clear now?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Comrade Madit and Peter Kane and the rest of the panelists who have joined the program today. I was at work when I was watching, and then I just came home and took a shower, and then I decided to join you guys in the studio. So first of all, I would like to say I apologize for that inconvenience. It caused you to delay you further when you should be actually closing the program. So I just want to make some few remarks, but I wish the show should have been longer a little bit so that we can continue to analyze further. So what we have to do here, ladies and gentlemen, is to look at the content of the speech delivered by Her Excellency Vice President Rebecca Nyandeng. I have not watched it myself, and I have not even read any article or a script that was actually present in that speech. So I apologize for that as well. But since I was listening to the panelists who contribute to the program, I can have at least something to talk about, even though I have not listened to the entire speech or read the whole script. So I just want to focus on the content of the speech given. I believe most of you who joined the program could be familiar with the speech delivered so far. So in my understanding, ladies and gentlemen, I believe Her Excellency Rebecca Nyandeng is one of the vice presidents of the government of South Sudan, which is now National Unity Government. It is no longer a government of one political party. It is a government that is composed of all the other opposition parties. So this is a national unity government as per the peace agreement, or has stipulated in the revitalized peace agreement. So Rebecca Nyandeng, in my understanding, came as a representative of the whole government of South Sudan. So the fact that people were saying that this speech might have been drafted or formulated by His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, or maybe SPLM mainstream political party, is not true. So according to my understanding, I believe it was the collective ideas put together by the National Unity Government, which composed of all the other opposition parties. So I think they formulated and drafted this speech presented by Her Excellency Nyandeng Mabior. So I think we should all be commendable in supporting her, or supporting all of them as a peace partners to this revitalized peace agreement. And that is what we are standing and supporting as the citizens of South Sudan collectively. So I stand for peace and stability. So when it comes to the speech of Her Excellency Vice President Rebecca Nyandeng, we should be looking at the content of what has been presented. But I will go and watch it later on, or I will go and read the script, and then so that I have to familiarize myself with the content. Otherwise, I want to focus on one thing, and I appreciate the fellow panelists who contributed earlier or before me, and they did a wonderful job, very fantastic job. And so I would like to add some few remarks on the issue of corruption. Corruption is one of the major barrier or obstacle why South Sudan is not actually developing, or why South Sudan is not progressing in terms of infrastructural development and other services that need to be delivered to South Sudanese. So if we get corruption eliminated or eradicated in South Sudan, I believe it will actually usher a way toward the development goal. Unfortunately, that's not actually moving as we expect as South Sudanese. So we should be consolidating our position collectively as South Sudanese in talking about corruption. So corruption is one of the main barrier or obstacle that is depleting South Sudan to move toward the goal of development. Looking at the content of the letter, I have heard from the fellow panelists who contributed earlier. They talk about Nyandeng appealing to the United Nations General Assembly for foreign aid or whatever assistance they are requesting. That is something I strongly disagree, and I don't like the fact that our government should always come to United Nations and appeal for help. It doesn't make any sense. Like Nyandeng taunted it in her own speech to the United Nations General Assembly, she made it articulately clear that South Sudan is a rich nation. Yes, the whole world knows that. Even the United States of America know that South Sudan is one of the most richest country on earth. However, we are lacking leadership, as emphasized earlier by my other panelists. But the question here, we South Sudanese should not rely on seeking foreign aid. And I remember our late leader, Dr. John Garang used to talk a lot about the foreign aid. There is always something attached to foreign aid. So foreign aid is not something good. So it almost makes me sick in the stomach when I see our government official coming to Washington and request or appeal for help. It doesn't make any sense at all. Because when you seek foreign aid or foreign assistance in terms of monetary form, it will come back and beat you in other form or other way. And in that case, that's why you see United Nations or United States of America or any other Western countries interfering in the affairs of South Sudan as a result of foreign aid influence. So that's why we always caution our government not to rely heavily in seeking foreign aid, because when you are given a foreign aid, there is always a string attached to it. And that's why you will see that country looking up to you to adhere to the moral values and other principles of ethical practice that must be practiced in that bureaucratic system of your government. So, which is not the case in South Sudan. And that is why the very same country that is going to help you with whatever assistance that you are seeking from them, they will come back later on and try to influence your national politics or whatever direction that you want to take your country, as in the case of United States. So if United States always have to give you foreign aid, you must actually adhere to the democratic values, the principle and the ethical practice must be maintained. But it is opposite for South Sudan. And I remember when South Sudan attained independence in 2011, all these Western nations contribute billions of dollars. And I guess it was approximately $4 billion. It was given to South Sudan in terms of foreign aid. And the question that is being asked by these Western countries is what has been done with that $4 billion. Not to mention the fact that South Sudan is actually a rich country that has a surplus of revenue coming in from the oil sale, as well as we also have abundant resources of minerals, not to mention the potential benefit of agriculture. So our country is not actually poor. What we are lacking here is leadership, as stressed earlier by Comrade Gadeton, made it articulately clear that what we are lacking in South Sudan is leadership. And leadership is a problem. This is what we need to focus on. As South Sudanese, we need to support peace and stability while we are pushing for a democratic reform. So if South Sudan want to rely in seeking assistance or foreign aid from different countries, they must make sure they are there to the democratic values, democratic principle, and ethical practice when it comes to your governing system. Otherwise, we know very well our government is not going to adhere to the political or diplomatic influence by these foreign countries. And that is the reason why you should understand why do you come and seek help from them. And when they come to you and advise you how you should actually structure and govern your country, you should listen to them. And I know very well, even United States of America, they have many. But there are criteria that are being taken in order to assist a certain country. You must have to make sure you comply with democratic values, moral values, and follow all these ethical practices in the bureaucratic system of your government. But nonetheless, South Sudan hasn't been complying with all these international demands and expectations or international standard of governing the country. So if we want to be assist with the foreign aid, we must always expect that something democratic must be a priority. It must be a condition that might be complied with. Otherwise, failure to do so, I don't think all these Western countries will be able to approve any foreign aid. And also foreign aid come back to beat us to call for a regime change. So that's why I'm always better opposite, despite the fact that I support the government. It should be an internal issue that must be reconciled through a advisory level or role that has to be played within the system. So anyway, to save your time, I will just let it go. But like I said, I'm not very familiar with the full speech presented by Her Excellency.
You can watch the show later on. You can see the full speech. So I play 2 times, and people you can watch later on after the show. And also, before
and I'm wondering whether you will come back and talk about it further. I don't know.
I think this I was bringing that as a breaking news, but yeah, if we have other thing, we can talk about it tomorrow. But yes, there's another question that I'm asking people who are speakers. That's one of the questions that some of the South Sudanese are complaining that the delegates that with the Vice President Nyandeng, they're all Dinkas. Why the other tribe are not included in that delegates?
Yes, Madid, I heard you posting that question earlier to the rest of the finalists who spoke before me, and that was a good question. I even listened to one of the guests expressing the same point of tribalism, that those who came to Washington D.C. or came to the United Nations General Assembly are predominantly Dinka. I think that should not be a question, because those people came as per their respective ministerial portfolio or position in the government, right? They were not just being delegated just because they are from this tribe or that tribe. All I know is that they came as a result of their respective position assigned to them, or assignment as per the work that is given to them by the government of South Sudan. But so far, we shouldn't be looking about the tribal affiliation in this case. We should be looking at the content of what they have presented. And that's what we should be focusing on. And I appreciate one of your guests who spoke earlier by name Garkwat Nyal. He did it very well. You know, we shouldn't look at the person background as a matter of tribal affiliation. It shouldn't be a matter here. And all of us know that Nyandeng is an opposition. He's an opposition within the government. So he's critical of the system of the mainstream SPLM. So I think anyone who is actually opposed to the mainstream SPLM should understand that Nyandeng is not getting along with the direction or vision in which mainstream SPLM is actually taking the country to. So she's actually representing all the opposition, including those who have not even joined the peace agreement. So in this case, I think it is a fair representation. You know, it is a fair representation because Nyandeng herself is not happy with the system. So this idea of criticizing her as a Dinka plus other delegates that are accompanying her is not acceptable in this case, because most of those people who came along with her, some of them are opposition, and some of them used to be mainstream SPLM who never joined the opposition. So that was wrong to criticize her from the tribal basis or perspective in this case. So let us look at the content. I thought people were going to examine what has been presented in the speech, whether something negative or something positive. So we should have said, okay, Nyandeng have done well in presenting this speech to the United Nations in terms of this and that. And if he has actually left something out in that speech, that's what South Sudanese should have actually offered alternatively in this analysis. And this is how I thought should have been analyzed that way. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it, you know. So I was very critical again is the idea that Her Excellency Rebecca Nyandeng is actually seeking foreign aid. It's not a good thing at all. We should not entertain that. We have the abundant resources, and South Sudan was just given million of dollars recently by the International Monetary Fund, or should I call it World Bank? The World Bank loaned the money or lend the money to South Sudan. So I think this is not a good idea to continue to borrow more money and also seek, foreign assistance. Foreign assistance, they will not actually help South Sudan, because South Sudan do not comply with the democratic values or some moral values that need to be observed according to the international standard. So there are criteria that determine how foreign aid is actually being given, according to what we know. So it is up to the government of South Sudan to change themselves. This is a national unity government. It is not a government of Salva Kiir Mayardit.
Yeah, thank you. I will let you go. So let me give this 1 minute to Deng Dinka so put his last word, and then I'll wrap it up.
Yep.
Deng Dinka, unmute yourself. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Madid. I'll make it short. I just want to say thank you to Lady State for bringing me in. I'm always your fan, and I love how you bring different people from different ideologies to come and say what will fix our nation. It was good today to be here, and it was good to see new people. I learned from Gadet Tom. That was nice to hear from him to represent himself in this show. The same to all everyone who was here. I'll make it short to Doll. I will answer Doll in one just simple. I know he is listening. Doll said that Dinka are not majority and we fought them for so many years. My question to Doll, if you will go and listen to this. Murle have fought Murle have fought all of us, Nur, Dinka and others. And they are very, very small tribe, you know. They're not even side of half law, and they fight law since our grandfathers. And they fight us, Dinka Bor, since our grandfathers.
Deng
So,
Dinka, you shouldn't
oh,
bother to answer the whole argument.
but that's all. That have nothing to, is is wrong completely to compare just because Nuer and Dinka fight each other for a long time. So the majority is the one that fight opposition. No, no, it's wrong. I will give you that example because you know Law and you know Murle. You know you know Dinka Bor and you know Murle. But Murle have been for all this time. If if war was fought by majority, they would have been wiped out before we were born. So to keep that one like that, it's just a joke, doll. You know, we were together in group four. We are just hammer. You know, we can joke to one another. Some people may not understood that, but I'm sorry if I may offend you. The same to my brother Charlie. Now you become a chief brigade general. Huh? I have been searching on Facebook where is Charles.
Deng Dinka
My
is not,
brother
I don't
Charles
think he's
become
a.
a chief brigade general of opposition. Man, thank you for coming today. You made my day.
Thank you, Jendinga. Then Peter, I thought that you would raise your hand. Let me give you 1 minute. So before I go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay, I will just say thank you, Madid Majak and my brother Bin Luk, and Ding those who left on the panel. So the rest are already gone. So and I'm sorry for letting you down, Madid Majak, because I'm always busy when you guys have been doing a lot, but my participation has been low.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
I,
we know
I
that.
may come back soon, but
It's not only
all
you. It's not only you, Denka Mix. Those
We all
Madid
want to come back.
and Peter Kenny, they become lazy these days. They don't want to host us as usual.
like myself, there's nothing. I'm still in support of Lagos State 101. So percent as usual. It's just a matter of life. That's why I don't show up all the time. And on about the question that I raised my hand is about question why on the delegates who came with Rebecca Nyandeng, the vice president, Dinka. That question, yeah, it depends who is actually asking question. And yes, Dinka are part of South Sudan, and there's no way you can avoid them. Whoever come on the mission today, it might be a different person tomorrow. And we have four vice president or five. I'm sorry. Yeah, four. Are they four or five?
Yeah,
um,
5.
five, five vice president, and all of them are mixed. And I believe when they sat down and try to come up with the idea of delegation that will accompany the vice president to the General Assembly, I believe they know what they were doing because they are not Dinka themselves. There's two Nuer, there is two Dinka, and one Equatoria. There's 5 of them. So that decision came out from the 5 offices, including the office of the president. So anyway, is another way I'm learning. It's nothing wrong. But my brother Doug Thorne, I think he already answered that. So there's no time to waste about it. He already gave the answers of that. And the question Madid asked Don Legend, and he did not come up with. He came with something different now. What is supposed? I have to stop on there, my brother Madid. Nice see you again, and
Thank
I
you,
will be
gentlemen.
back.
Thank you so
I
much.
will be back again. So
Yeah.
thank you for
Thank
the
you.
service.
Thank you.
It's not easy. It's not an easy work.
Madid,
But we
I have
appreciate
another
you.
question. Does South Sudanese want to be represented too on tribal basis? When people are actually being delegated to come to DC or what?
I don't know. That's what they're saying. That's what I hear from them because they are complaining about that. Thank you,
Okay.
gentlemen. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you, bye.
Speakers who just turned in the show, Brother Kadilton, Walarjan, Paul, and everybody that came to Palan. Thank you, Charles Ipun. Charles, I know you are writing there. You say, but you've been here with me for 2 hours and a half, and you talk 3-4 times, and still now you are not satisfied. You are still
Okay, Madid, I'm sorry, I'm not interrupting you. I wrote down before. I said, Charles, you better not call Madid a corruptist today because he been talking a lot. I thought he read that comment. That's why I make that comment. Because
yeah, but I read it, and he's still not happy.
He always said, Madid, you are corrupted.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate for all of you coming in. Thank you, all the viewers who are watching Lagos State Media. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
I'm going to exit. Thank you.
Yeah, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Thank you.
Master Keunawe, Selector Bill Pamake. Wega Batin, Yeruli, Janang Bantungaya, Ninja Jenge, Kunya Jangutunga, Ajin Banda Tungaya, Ajin Banda, Ajin Bantambe, Yerulawan, Yerula, Banakoi Muria, Muria, Kodang, Tango Panaya, what do I think I do? Kubai Bandang, Paniche, Manya, Alanera, Wega Batin. Yeruli janang bantungaya, ninja jenge punya jang kutunga. Ajin panda tungaya najin panda, ajin pankan bebya yerulawan, yerula panikoi murian, murian yuit kutang. Tangko panalia, wadwa dingi tajam, kubai pandang panichay manya, alamiriera toko. Yang una alejonya la tong baingal bagira tumba toni dalwa jamane punu amen yen baino tong ya benya dalani je anjal madang manga kada bani vida.
It's your boy Young Love, I give him that thing. Control like a stand, Control like a stand, America. Banyi dual, Banaban, walk on your leg, Kankara, what on a watching. Koga, level leg, gear, pow, very leg. Panda with Yay, Panchid America. Banya, Dwalavan, Chingatonga, Pandon, could you ever buy a check out? Papu Panda, you, what you have. Legacy, stand up Panchir America, Panji Dwal, Panapan Panchal Thank you.